Yo, what's going on, people? We're back again. Recipes Podcast episode. What number is it? I can't remember. I don't know. Still not sure. It's been a while. But yeah, we're back again. Myself, Joe Hall, but Phil Lindsay, Lyric. And yeah, man, we're going to talk the latest Raw Revolutions coming up this weekend. There was a lot of stuff going on over the weekend. There's a lot of discourse and conversations, and we're going to try and get into the things that you guys want us to get into. So make sure you keep it active in the chat. Like the video. As always, send any super chats, always appreciated. And like I said, keep it active in the live chat. We want to see your reactions, see what you guys want to talk about. But yeah, man, first things first, going to go around. Hope everyone in the chat's doing good. But also my fellow co-host, Lyric. It's been a couple of weeks. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be back.
Happy days, happy days. We've missed you, you know. We didn't even do a show last week. That's how devastated everybody was, you know. Albert and Phil had other... there was like schedule conflicts that weren't conflicts that were conflicts. It just got all confusing, so we kind of skipped last week. but we're here again, you know. Phil, how you doing, brother? You good?
Good. Very finicky Midwest weather. 70 degrees yesterday. Back to being cold today. Doesn't know what it wants to do.
Yeah, well, there's two Brits here that can definitely relate to that.
To be fair, it's actually just cold, really. Yeah, it's just.
I don't know, but it hasn't been that cold the past few days. Like, you know,
but it's pretty
turn my heating
though.
down. At least it stopped. Yeah. At least it stopped raining every single day, because there was like an 80-day streak at one point or something. You know. Like,
yeah, man. Every time you go outside for a walk, you just have to hope you time it right, where it doesn't pour down the rain. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Great British weather. So outside of Midwest and British weather, yeah, we're here. Like I said, there's a lot of wrestling going on. So Raw last night, Revolution's coming up this weekend, so I want to touch on that. There was CMLL. There was a big show in the UK with Eve this weekend. NXT did a PLE. The New Japan Cup's been going on, so there's a lot of things to talk about, I think, this week. MyAEW was recently announced by AEW for international fans, which is quite a big step for them in kind of, I guess, the preparation of Triller, which we all expect to... don't think it's going to last very, very much longer, Triller, so we'll get into that as well. And yeah, man, like I just said, what do you guys want to talk about in the chat as well? But we'll start with Raw, because it was last night. And what started on Raw last night was that Seth Rollins Vision segment. You know, Adam Pearce, he comes out, he says, "Listen, man, we got to sort." The gist of what Adam Pearce said when he first came was like, "Listen, we got to sort some stuff out. It's all been chaos lately." Seth Rollins come out, you know, masked man standing on the announce table, comes into the ring. Adam Pearce warned Seth Rollins about playing these games with a Vision, and he's technically not cleared, and we don't want it to be the end of Seth Rollins, and blah, 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 blah. And then Logan and Austin Theory come out, and they just, you know, that anything they say just goes in one ear and out the other, you know. They're going to hurt Seth Rollins, apparently. And then they get up to the apron, and about 10, 12, 15 masked men all appear in the ring. Seth Rollins puts his hood back up again. He shuffles amongst them. They all move around. The crowd starts chanting "Holy shit" for some reason. And yeah, it was just slop, bro. Just absolute slop. And like, all I've been thinking about the past couple of weeks, because obviously with Bron Breakker being injured, Seth's back now, and it's kind of looming over us of like, it's either Theory or Logan for Seth Rollins at Mania. And all I can think about is what Phil said about 3-4 weeks ago, when he was like, "Hey man, Seth, if Bron Breakker's not ready for Mania, just stay at home, bro. Just stay at home. You don't need this in your life." And I was watching that segment last night, and it was just like, and I even tweeted it, it's like, Seth probably did work pretty hard to come back in time for Mania this year, and he's just immediately back in absolute slop again, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Bron Breakker has to come back. He has to. I still do think he probably will come back with Bron Breakker, though, with Heyman. And it'll be like Heyman's like get back, like, "Oh, I'm coming back with Bron Breakker," and that'll be the Mania match. But yo, Phil, man, your boy's suffering out here, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, the segment last week I thought was actually good. The stuff with him and Heyman, I thought it did what it was supposed to do. Worked well for him, but this week he's still for some reason coming out with the mask and the hoodie, even though we know it's him at this point. He's revealed himself, so I don't know why he's still coming out with the mask. And then he had all the other masked men with him that were for some reason like moving around like the Putty Patrol from Power Rangers. I don't know what was happening, and just like even like Pierce's motive to come out and go, Seth Rollins, get out here. Like, what are you doing? It's just like, but technically, did he do anything wrong? They attacked him first. They put him on the shelf. He came back, got his revenge. What did he really do that was wrong? And it's just like, well,
it's disrupting the show, Phil. You know,
you're not clear to wrestle though. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, my concern for this guy, I continue to say, Seth, listen, I know for the love of the game, I know you had to rush back, but if Braun Breaker is not going to be back in a few weeks, and you're just wrestling Logan Paul at WrestleMania again, why did you do this? Like, I promise we did not need another Seth, Logan, Paul match at WrestleMania. I think we could have did without it. And if that's not where we're going, I don't know what we're doing, because the only other person left in this group is Austin Theory, and Buddy, there's no way that's the WrestleMania match. There's no way. There's no way.
The visual's criminal as well. So like, when they interrupted Adam Pearce and it was like the vision, and it's like it's just Logan and Theory. It's like, bro.
You guys don't even have Heyman no more. It's just these two coming out. Somebody else pointed it out on Twitter when Logan Paul pulled his shirt off. For some reason, he had like the mic taped to his chest. I was like, wait, he's wearing a wire? I knew this guy was a cop.
It's tough, man. And another thing, like, when they're coming out, bro, I'm like, yo, Seth's got this. You know, it's only Theory and Logan Paul. Seth can handle this, bro. Like, you know that. Then I see 15 man jump in the ring as well, and it's like, why is he running? Why is he running? I don't get it.
He's not cleared, so you know he had to do the Ra's al Ghul bit where it's just like, yep, look, get in there, guys. It's just like, well, why?
Joe, it's it's a weird one, isn't it? it's a weird, because we don't know. Like, if we knew that Braun Breaker was imminently returning, I think you could probably stomach some of this a bit easier.
Please.
Even though it was still slop. Like, even if it was Braun Breaker, even if they brought fucking Harley Race back from the grave and that's who he was facing at Mania, like, this segment still would have been slop, you know. But
yeah, I don't know. It's a mess, right? The whole thing, the division thing, has been a nightmare. So hopefully, whatever the match is at WrestleMania, that's the end of this whole saga. It feels like Paul is gonna, he's got ahead of it and said, "I'll take myself out of the game, guys. Give me a reset." He'll let those guys take the heat. There's this classic Paul Lee fashion. So it sucks. All of it sucks. I saw the clip of your referencing with the mask man. It's very funny, at least. So. Putting that shit off live is like, the comparison that Phil made is perfect, because like, imagine watching them do that live in a ring, you know, like just guys stepping side to side. Oh, it's
shuffling around and all that. But Lyric, as somebody who's not a avid weekly Raw watcher, I'm assuming you have seen the clip though. What's the reaction when you see a clip like that hit your timeline? Is it like, they're doing what they do, you know?
This has been the most shambolic WrestleMania build that I've had to watch from afar in a long time. And that's saying something, because last year was kind of bad. But like this, everything, I haven't seen anything positive. Like, I have not seen one positive thing come from this WrestleMania build. When I saw them doing the dash and all these masked men, I said, there's no way. I thought everybody was joking. I was already having a bad night. I want you to know that. I was already having a bad night. I thought everybody was joking. I thought they were bringing up old clips. I was like, oh man, like, is this from like 2 years ago? This was from 5 minutes ago. I said, Jesus Christ. And also, Seth Rollins, there's never been a time when you have broken your back for this company where they've cared. There's never been a time when Seth Rollins has been rewarded from being pick me, choose me, love me. I am going to rush out here. I'm going to literally put myself through hell to be back for WrestleMania. There's never been a time that you've been rewarded for it, especially not in this decade. I'll tell you that. I have no idea what WrestleMania is about to look like. I I feel bad for people who are actually going. Truly, once I found out that Bianca was out, they lost me. I didn't have
Tough, isn't it?
I didn't have
Tough,
a dog
man.
in this fight. I watch her recovery videos every day.
Yeah.
When my queen returns, maybe we can talk.
I love how all her the recovery videos are like her just like doing like this, you know. It's like, and we're all like, yeah, man, let's fucking
It's
go.
not funny because she's clearly in pain, but like it's like the visual of just like this one finger just it's nuts. But
I can't believe that's kept us apart from Bianca for like a year, man. It's insane, isn't it?
and you can tell her absence is just so it's felt. It's just her absence across wrestling in general. I think she's a superhero. It's rough right now.
So yeah, opening segment was slop, and we also missed Bianca, which I guess you can take from the first 15 minutes of this show. What else? We had the gauntlet. We had the women's gauntlet to decide the women's IC #1 contender for AJ Lee next week. I believe that match is. And in the gauntlet, we had Raquel Rodriguez, Laura Valkyria, Io Sky, Ivy Nile, Asuka, and the eventual winner, Bayley. And in the lead up to this match, when it was announced and stuff, I was seeing people do kind of like the fan theories, who they think should win, who they think will win, and what this will lead to Mania. Like, Io will win because it will set up this, or Asuka will win and it will eventually set up Io versus Asuka at Mania, and all these different ideas, or Lyra will win. And Bayley ended up winning. I've seen some pushback on the timeline, and it was just kind of like, I didn't really have a dog in this fight.
We have no shame, Montel WP.
How can they do that to Pam?
Seeing Bayley win and being mad about it. Call the fucking police on these people. That's what I say. I think, in all seriousness, I completely understood the allure of using this to launch Asuka and Io. Jokes aside, but it does make a lot of sense that with how just recently AJ has come back to the ring, Bayley is like the safest possible hands you could put her in, right? Like, it makes a lot of sense for a TV match,
nice
especially.
Match. It's a rematch as well, apparently. Well, it is.
Yeah. I definitely, my bits aside, I get some frustration within what happened in the match, but in terms of Bayley winning, anytime Bayley wins, I'm fine. It's fine by me. So.
Yeah, man.
I look forward to her and AJ. I know it's a big match for them personally, right? They both talked about that.
Yeah, definitely. Because she's Bayley's one of the only people that was there when AJ was there, isn't it?
Yep.
Even though she weren't main roster yet, I don't think.
There,
yep.
Yeah.
But she was there, and they even wrestled. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's definitely a cool match. But yeah, I think it was just one of those situations, at least from like the fan perception, where they kind of like, I don't know, like they fought themselves into a bit of a tiz. Do you know what I mean? And then, oh my god, as if Asuka didn't win or whatever. And it's just like, and I'll be honest, like, I actually thought the match itself was quite like poorly booked. Like throughout, like I didn't like the way that like they did the whole thing where Io beat Raquel and Raquel lashed out and just beat up Io, and Ivy just came in and pinned her. Like, I thought that was crap. I thought Laura and Io could have been allowed to like breathe a little more, and just kind of like things like that. Really, then like I think it was Ivy and Bayley, I think, and like that was yeah, it was Bayley and Ivy, and it was like, I don't know, I think they went like 10 minutes, and I'll be honest, like that did get quite boring. But overall, I do think the women, they all showed what they can do, like, to an extent. You know what I mean? Like, we all know Bayley, Asuka, Lyra, Io especially, are very, very, very capable if you just kind of let them go out there and do their thing, and that's what they did. Even getting around some of the booking things that I weren't particularly over the moon about, but. Yeah, man. Bayley, AJ looked pretty good on the pay-per-view, I thought. Bayley's Bayley, bro. So I don't want to get my expectations too high, because I think it's a dangerous game when you do that with like the legends on their comeback runs and that. Do you know what I mean? Because you never know, do you? But
yeah,
I'm optimistic about this TV match as well. See where it goes.
Yeah, I thought the gauntlet started well. I thought the Io and Lyra stuff was good. I thought the end of the gauntlet was good, but some of the stuff in the middle wasn't great. I don't quite understand what they're doing with Io, and I think just having Ivy just pin Io in the middle of this didn't really make sense.
Wait, what?
It wasn't like she beat her clean. So what happened was Io beat Raquel with a roll up, a really cool roll up actually. She came off the top rope, looked like a swinging DDT, turned it into a roll up. But Raquel then was like she lashed out, big boot over the ropes. Then what else did she do? Then she threw her into the post, like darted her into the post, and then she hit a Tejana bomb on the apron. And then Ivy Nile came out and literally just like rolled her further into the ring and pinned her.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I get it. It wasn't clean, and I get what you're supposed to take away from this, but I just think with the way they've come into this year, and Io seemed pretty directionless, is very strange to me. Like, not putting her in an Elimination Chamber match and then using her here in this way it's bizarre. Like, I mean, if we're going to the Mania and the matches, Io versus Oscar or Io versus Julia, sure, if they could throw in a card, but it just still doesn't make sense to me that the entire thing last year was Rhea couldn't beat Io, and now Rhea's heading to WrestleMania with a big world title match, and Io has nothing going. That just doesn't make sense to me at all, but I don't know.
think they see Io though as like an extension of Rhea though. I'm not sure how much value the company sees in her outside of Rhea's world. Like even when she's on top, even when she's champion, it's all, even when she's doing tag stuff, everything that she does revolves around Rhea. And when Rhea's not in the picture, it just seems like they don't care, which sucks. Which absolutely sucks. But yeah, breaks.
But I mean, they gave her so much last year, giving her the WrestleMania win.
Again, too.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, it's some stuff they're doing with Io this year that I just don't quite get. But
yeah,
I digress. Bayley winning made sense. I mean, if we took anything away from Elimination Chamber, it's that Charles Montgomery Punk has quite a bit of clout over there, and this is a match that AJ clearly wanted. This is a match that Bayley clearly wanted as well. Bayley is in that friend circle with them over there, so I'm not shocked by this. I think it's a great look for Bayley. Bayley also seems pretty directionless heading into WrestleMania, so I don't understand people being upset that she's going to get like this dream match opportunity on TV. Like, at least they're giving her something here, because this is after weeks of them giving her nothing. And I think her and Lyra are a good tag team. I'm surprised they haven't been in the mix more. And they're actually giving her a win, actually giving her something of note. And people are like, no, but wait, isn't this what we want for her? I
expect AJ will win. However,
yes,
an interesting story element they could go with, that I think would be a cool thing for Bayley. The idea that next week Becky Lynch costs AJ Lee the match, and therefore the person who last year cost Bayley her WrestleMania moment inadvertently hands her the IC title. Bayley's triumphant, she's celebrating, and Lyra Valkyrie's like, "You're really cool with you winning that way." And Bayley's like, "Listen, it's been a tough year. I'm cool with it." You know, like that kind of morality play of like, she hates Becky Lynch. Becky did this terrible thing to her, but Becky accidentally hands her the IC belt, and Bayley has to deal with whether she's satisfied with that or not. I think that could be interesting. I think Bayley as a wrestler, I mean, she's one of my favorite wrestlers to watch in WWE, but as a character, I think it's been a while since she had something like really to sink her teeth into, right? Like that, I think she could do a lot with that. Like a conflicted babyface who realizes she may need to change her methods again to get success,
So if I'm hearing you right, Joe, that means she should come out after she wins the IC title, and then Stephanie McMahon is going to come out and tell us why Stephanie should apologize and relinquish the belt because she didn't win it in a fair way.
Yeah, I don't think you're hearing me right, but that's a good idea.
Lyric, if you don't remember the whole storyline of how Bayley won the world title for the first time on the main roster, it's because Sasha helped her win.
Yeah.
And then the next week, Stephanie came out and was like, "You've got to apologize. How could you win the belt that way?"
You don't want to do it that way.
But jokes aside, I think what would be cool about it too is it would give Lyra something character-wise too, right? Because she'd be like, she'd be questioning Bayley a lot there. And so that could be fun. I don't know. There's some different ways to go with this. I hope the match is good. I'll be checking that one out for sure, because it's a cool one just for the history of the division. It's a cool like novelty thing.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
If nothing else. Yeah,
definitely.
I still think it's Becky versus AJ at WrestleMania, though.
So do I. Yeah,
I don't think that's changing.
Yeah.
My only thing, Phil, was I was wondering if maybe they switch the belt and do that non-title, but after it being Bayley, I don't think so. I think the Bayley arc is because Lyra had that thing where she was like, "I can't let you miss WrestleMania again." So I could see them doing something where Bayley loses again and their payoff is winning the tag belts at Mania, which I actually would be very satisfied with because then that would end their year-long saga after what happened at Mania last year. A little bit worried about that women's tag title match in terms of who's going to be in it, but if Bayley and Lyra win it, I'll be more than happy with that.
Yeah, you take it.
Who are the tag chicks now?
Nia and Lash.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if it gets Lash to WrestleMania, I'm okay with it.
I think they're going to be. It's more I think you can be confident. Lash, Nia, Charlotte, Alexa are going to be in the teams surrounding that. If we go Bellas and some others, it could get a little spooky.
Hey man, not too much on the Bellas, bro. You know?
Not too much on the Bellas.
Not too much on the Bellas. Come on.
It's more the people that'd be in, like,
respecting our elders here, you know.
I have no beef with the Bellas. That could be a scary match. Just being real.
Hey man.
Yeah, this is interesting. That's gonna be an interesting card. We got that Russell Votes report that there's like 5 women's matches potentially penciled in, which I don't know that I necessarily believe. I think the most we've ever gotten is 3 at WrestleMania.
Across both nights?
Yeah, I think the most we've ever gotten is 3. So if we do get at least 4, that would be cool. But like the idea of them potentially putting a tag match here, and then we've also got Rhea versus Jade, and whatever Liv versus Stephanie is going to look like.
I mean, well, Rhea versus Jade is going to be 7 minutes long, so there's time for everybody else.
Yeah.
That's not going to be long at all.
I love, by the way, that Jade has basically said what everybody else was thinking. It's like, well, I thought my opponent was going to be Charlotte, but, you know, I guess it's you now, so I guess that's cool.
What a weird situation.
It's so strange because
it should have been Charlotte.
It's very clear on TV that they were positioning it to be Charlotte, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. And so Jade is kind of very rightfully saying on Twitter, like, no, you're only here because Tanya Randall got pregnant and didn't show up. Like, people are mad at her for that. And some people will understand that reference, but
the thing is, I don't think it ever actually was Charlotte. I think they just do these fucking things where they tease you on stuff they're not going to do. They do this every year, and it's very strange. Like, remember that year where... Yeah, I think she wanted it for sure. Remember the year where they did like the Cody Punk live promo, and it's like, well, that's clearly the match, and it was never the match.
They do tension and stuff with every team, bro.
So
on Friday they did it with the Motor City Machine Guns. Who's asked for this? Like, why are them two arguing on TV, bro? What are we doing?
It genuinely is just a rotation of teasing different stuff, so then you can go back to and go, there it was. Told you this in October. You know, it's like. Now I will say, to Phil's point, the weirdest Charlotte tease was the one they did before she lost the Chamber qualifier.
Yeah.
It was like an extended tease. So much so that I was watching it going, did they like extend that to tease themselves? Because it was so, remember they had like people run out and shit?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like they did a whole pull apart around that and then did the qualifying match and Charlotte lost.
Yeah. So
like, wait, what?
That's the perfect example because that couldn't even be like a plans change. Like that was before the match where she was out of the picture.
Yeah,
I don't know. Very, very strange. I think there's actually a lot of merit to not rushing Charlotte back to the singles stuff because I think it could backfire, to be honest. But SmackDown was also in a lot of trouble, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, the Rhea Jade thing is not off to a triumphant start, quite frankly. But we'll see what comes next.
I kind of love that we got actually Jade just kind of being naturally funny and naturally a bully on Twitter. And then all these people just came for her and she just was like, well, what? I'm going back on vacation, y'all. Y'all have a good time. And then they got to the show where you got all of this buzz around like what they were doing on Twitter. And they're like, nope, we're going to do this very safe promo. We're not going to let anything like Tiffany Charlotte happen again. Nope, just straight to business. Like we're going to talk about muscles. We're going to talk about all the rest of this stuff. No Twitter, no how, no way. Okay.
Yeah, it was jarring. That wasn't it?
It was.
We have to ban work shoots. We
it's not good for anyone.
For the rest of the decade, y'all don't know how to act. Y'all can't do this correctly. It's okay.
it's weird. Like, I didn't hate their segment, but it wasn't anything really in either direction. And the only thing too, and this was a real like in-ring promo problem that we get a lot now. Rhea's promo was legitimately like 2 sentences of material that they extended to being like a 4-minute monologue. Her delivery was genuinely just... Sorry, her material was genuinely just like, you're built for show, I'm built for go. That was basically the whole promo. But the way that it was scripted was like line by line. Mm-hmm. Maybe your shoulders are bigger than mine. Maybe. Yeah, they might be. They might be. It's like, damn, bro, like, can we get to the damn line here?
Make your point, you know?
Yeah, it's not Rhea's fault. I know that's how that was laid out, but
I mean, she tried to do the, listen, you're not going to do a body off with Jade and win, Rhea. You're not, no.
Nah. You can say whatever you want about that lady. You can say whatever you want about that
You're
lady.
not doing that.
You can say whatever you want about her wrestling or anything like that, but when it comes, no. You're just not going to win, and that's okay. No.
Yeah, but yeah, Joe, weird promo material sometimes. It's like they'll have like a small idea and they'll stretch it out over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, and there is a lot of promos like that with the live ones where it's just like, okay, when is this person going to make your point? Like, goddamn.
Rhea has 1,000,001 strengths. I don't think she has the delivery to be extending a 30-second promo to 6 minutes in the name of filling TV time for SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's... So that was kind of... I didn't think the segment was terrible or anything. I think people were understandably disappointed by it because it had no juice compared to the stuff on social. But that didn't surprise me because they were never going to bring that stuff.
Yeah, they were never... I just...
Not after what happened last year. Yeah, I mean, it's just... It was no way.
But it's like it was so safe at the same time.
Here's what I'll say on a positive side. I think Rhea is a much safer bet to have a good match with Jade than Charlotte in 2026, personally. And so, hopefully the match is at least fun. That's what I'll say. We'll see.
Hopefully. We're just hoping and coping with this Mania build, But that's just what it is. But, so yeah, the Gauntlet touched on Jade a little bit. Stephanie and Liv, obviously the other world title match, they were kind of involved in the Gauntlet yesterday, which I think in itself is a little bit of a problem. Like, so Liv comes out to distract Bailey from Raquel, I believe, and Lyra comes and evens the odds and takes out Liv. No, that was Asuka and Kairi, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Asuka and Kairi. Yeah, this is what I mean. There was multiple run-ins. Like, there was the run-in with like Kairi comes out to try fuck over Bailey, then Lyra takes out Kairi to even things up. Then there was one when Raquel was in there. I don't know if it was Bailey or Io, and Liv comes out to cause a distraction. Then Stephanie immediately follows up after. They have a little bit of a brawl and they fuck off basically. And my point I was going to try to get to was just kind of like, this is the world title match, and all they got really on Raw last night to build to their title match that has absolutely negative juice at the moment. It was like a little run-in that lasted 30 seconds, and it's like, people need to have ideas for this story, man. Like, you can do like the recorded promos, like Stephanie had one last night. It's like, like a few weeks ago, like Liv promo about like the flea-infested rings and that, and it's like, bro, these people have really bad ideas to like build tension. Yeah, you didn't see that lyric? You didn't see that last week?
I saw something, but I thought, again, I don't know what's real or what's fake when I hear things like this. When I hear flea-infested rings, I'm assuming
mud huts.
I try to do people the benefit of the doubt, being like, no, she didn't actually say that.
Yeah, no. So boom, she had like a video promo, and she was talking about like, because like one of Stephanie's things has been like how Liv is so privileged and blah 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 blah. Then Liv's in the middle of Liv's video promo, she was like, oh, it's not my fault but you had to come up in flea infested rings and mud huts, and it was like, whoa. Yeah,
whoa. That was a very interesting choice for Stephanie to call her privileged, and as a white woman come back and go, yeah, but you over there wrestling in mud huts. Like, that was a choice.
That's the quote. Mud hut wrestling, flea-infested rings.
Yeah, that was a choice. And then they continued to play up the Mud Hut stuff this week in Stephanie's promo, where Stephanie was like, well, so I did wrestle in Mud Huts. And I'm like, why are we not just letting that line die? Why are we referencing it again? And like, I think overall the Stephanie thing that they aired last night was good. I thought that, letting her speak her native language and just putting the subtitles under it, great stuff. But yeah, if you're trying to build this whole storyline around indie wrestler, CMLL wrestler against PC product, homegrown product, I already know who's going to win because it's WWE, and they're clearly going to put the homegrown talent over somebody else from somewhere else. That's just how this goes. But yeah, I could have gone without like the Mud Hut stuff, especially with what's going on in the world. And you have our president calling places shithole countries and stuff like that. I didn't need to see that.
Yeah.
That's
I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to doubt they have a good idea for this Liv Stephanie feud, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm starting to wonder.
Not a single idea in between the 12 people in the writing room. Do you know what I mean? It's
just a
crazy,
match on the whiteboard, isn't it?
Just
a
12
match
just telling each other exactly. Yes.
It's
a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It is.
The
It genuinely
problem
is.
They've got 5 more weeks, and it's one of those matches that you hope this isn't the case, but you get the sense by the time we get to the first bell ringing, there's a chance people have already just gone, I'm out, and that sucks. But it happens a lot with if you're going to build a match for 8 weeks, you need to have some things up your sleeve. And I have no doubt that Stephanie's work's incredible, and I have no doubt that on WrestleMania in a title match, Liv will do whatever it takes to try and get the thing over. I mean, she'll do some nutty stuff, I'm sure, but unfortunately, the way the build's going, they may have to dig themselves out of a hole within the match, which is a shame. But we'll see. We shall see. I mean, it's been pretty flat so far.
Yeah. What else? Main highlights from Raw. JD, Judgment Day. They turned on Finn Balor. Obviously, Finn Balor didn't want to help Dom cheat last week when he dropped the belt to Penta. Dom, of course, came into Raw last night furious about this, wanting to talk to Finn. Couldn't find Finn, so he went out to the ring and said that, come out, basically. And Finn eventually comes out, and Dom demands an apology, and that he's going to... and Finn's going to get him another title match for him and all this and that. And Finn was basically just like, hey, man. No. He basically told him, like, I've been trying to help you all this time, and you should want to win titles on your own. We've helped you so much over the past 2 years, and maybe your dad is right. Maybe you are just a spoiled little prick. And then obviously Dom got a bit heated, smushed him in the face. Finn kind of turned his back to him, and I was like, Pele kick, Pele kick, Pele kick. Hit him with Pele kick. And then I guess the surprise in this segment was JD McDonough turned on Finn as well, when he seemed to be kind of like Finn's guy in the Judgment Day. Do you know what I mean? Finn brought him into the Judgment Day. They're always together. There was no kind of teases or anything like that, which is very rare for WWE, of JD turning on Finn. But and even just the way they shot it, like Finn was setting up his drop kick in the corner, and then as he's running halfway across the ring, JD just takes him out with a clothesline, and they do the frog splash onto the chair, and they just beat the shit out of Finn for a bit. And Finn, full-blown babyface now, 100%, and even got JD with him. He is all on his own against this Judgment Day. The Judgment Day lineup in 2026 is, it's...
Needs some help. It's not a playoff team right now. I think Finn needs some backup. Some good brothers, if you will, personally.
Oh, yeah.
Talking illegal tomorrow. Clear this situation.
Oh, yeah.
I see another run on the horizon, friends. I might join them. I might go too. I might have to go too. They need a mouthpiece out there. I'll do it. But yeah, Finn Balor is out of the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day is not an all-star squad right now. That's my personal analysis of the situation. But once they add Evil, things change. Get ready.
Wait, what?
I presume that's what they're going to do.
House of Judgment incoming.
Oh, God.
I could be wrong. I don't. They're going to have to add someone, right? They have to. It's like...
Nah, this House of Judgment reign is going to be... Oof, can't wait.
Jesus Christ, no.
Yeah, Listen, as somebody that feels like Judgment Day has way outlived its usefulness, I was sitting during this entire thing like, yes, I've been waiting. Get Finn Balor out this group. It is time. When he did that NXT show, when he came out to his old theme and he had like the Balor Club jacket on, did his old entrance, I was like, guys, get him back to just being Finn Balor. Make this guy a babyface again. Enough. We've done enough. Move on, bro. I'm so ready. Get him away from Dom. Get him away from all of this. Enough. Like, stop it, bro. Like, I almost felt bad watching this guy wrestle in the United Center and had a pretty solid match with CM Punk. But I'm like, nobody believes he's going to win. Get this guy back to his former glory, man. It's not too late. It's not too late.
He's definitely still physically capable. You know, it's not like a thing where it's like, oh, he's broken down and he's washed and he can't do it. It's just that, like, he's just been positioned as, like, basically like an upper mid-carder, even dropping down into just straight up mid-carder, the odd title fight once every couple of years, you know, like,
yeah.
And obviously a lot of the fans, especially some of the newer fans in recent years, are very much conditioned to not really taking Finn that seriously, you know. But obviously we remember, and a lot feels. I'm not sure if it's too late, but it'll be such an uphill battle to try and get him to like where he was when he first, you know, when he was like first. You know, when the Finn that won the Universal title and everyone, even when he first came back from that, and you know, it'll be kind of like a tough sell, but they can do it. You know, it's not impossible. It's pro wrestling, bro. You know, you can just have him you can just beat Brock Lesnar next week. You know,
they can.
But they're not gonna do that. But like, I'm just saying, like, it's pro wrestling. You can do anything you want. Do you know what I mean? But it's it'll be a tough. It'll be quite the mountain to climb if they are hoping to get Finn right back up there. But I don't think they are. I think they're just going to have him as like a useful upper baby face on the show. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm sure he's happy with that. Do you know what I mean? He even said himself that he's been more than happy with the Judgment Day over the past few years. So it's the best group that he's ever been part of. He's never enjoyed wrestling more. And
the best group he's ever been a part of? What?
His favourite or whatever. What did he say? Best or favourite? Some verbiage like that. But he definitely did say that JD is like his top group that he's enjoyed being in.
No, I believe that because that's in terms of what they did. And look, I'm saying this, but I get it because he's at a different point in his life. He's probably a lot more content as a person, a human being. He's making a lot more money. He isn't getting ripped off on T-shirts he designed. I get it.
I get those things, but also,
I'm just you gotta think as well though, with the Judgment Day, because they've been kind of like the main heel group over a lot of the 2020s. It's like he's always been doing stuff, man. Do you know what I mean? And having a bunch of live promos as a group and stuff like that. So like, I think from a talent, obviously for us as fans, it's easy to look at somebody like Finn and Finn's career and what he's done of like, oh man, he should be doing X, Y, and Z. But I think if you just look at it from kind of like even like the perspective that Joe gave, it's like he's making a lot of money, he's chilling, he's always on TV, he hasn't really got to worry about his spot.
It's just,
do you know what I mean? It's just he's got it easy. Do you know what I mean?
You don't have to worry about Gallows getting home. There's all sorts of just different factors. You know?
Yeah. Listen, I've already seen it in the chat. Do we guys think by WrestleMania he's gonna do like the big trunks reveal? He's gonna do like the tear off pants, like
God, I hope so.
Like Okada.
Release them.
Release them. Tremendous.
But yeah, man, shout out Finn. And yeah, we'll see what happens with the Judgment Day, man, because at the moment they've got Liv, JD, Raquel, and Dom. Yeah. Raquel, Liv, Dom and JD. Oof. You know? And it's mad as well because the group, obviously I know it's so far away from the original concept of the group when it was like Edge, Damian Priest, Rhea. Which like, bro, they obviously started it to be like quite a heavy heel group, do you know what I mean? But like now it's just kind of slowly, it's just kind of been chipped away at. And like Phil said earlier, that it's more than ran its course. And I don't even, like, it didn't have to be this way, you know? Like, I feel like you could have still kept them relatively fresh, but especially in recent months, it's kind of, it's been very like repetitive.
So
and just waiting for stories to come to conclusions like they did luckily last night and stuff like that.
jokes aside, and I'm generally not this person, but in this case it is kind of funny. David Finlay would have actually been he would have been the perfect
100%, 100%,
which is funny. Like, if they didn't have interest in him, then I think it's better they just not offer him money for the sake of it, you know, because that turns into an issue in itself. But ironically, this actually was a perfect spot for him. He could have easily slotted in and been a huge help to that group. But
it's honestly quite insane that obviously WWE, well, you never know these days, probably thought to do that turn fucking Sunday afternoon, do you know what I mean? But you'd think that they've known for a little minute, like on the route to WrestleMania, they're going to turn on Finn. And then we see the reports about what WWE was trying to offer Finlay, whether it's true or not. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, you're going to be in the birthright stable in NXT. And it's like, this spot just opened up, bro. What are we talking about, you know? Yeah. So I agree with you 100%. This would have been perfect for David Finlay. Yeah. It would have been a great way to get him kind of introduced to the audience, and he would have been able to kind of show what he can do on the mic and in the ring very quickly and establish himself, you know?
You sure we didn't need video packages? Like, that's what we would have heard all over Twitter. You can't just put David Finlay on the main roster without video packages. Who is this guy? We need to know who he is.
Yeah, they would have screamed at us that it was Finlay's son or something.
They would have had him doing that Irish jig.
Which, by the way, I think one of the funniest things that has happened that nobody has said, the fact that this video package discourse was such a big thing for a long time, and then they just cold dropped Danhausen on WWE pay-per-view. No hints, no video packages, and it's going just well. It just continues to show why that discourse was stupid all along.
Yeah, but with that being said, I am happy that David Finlay is in AEW because I think overall, even though this spot in the Judgment Day would have probably been great for him, I do think overall, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably where he should be, you know?
Like, honestly, what's early is like, both promoters of the big two should sign wrestlers they have sincere interest in using.
Yes.
Because when it's just signing toys so people can't play with those toys, that's so bad for the business. It sucks. So if they didn't see David Finlay as a Monday Night Raw star, cool. Like, I'd rather that than like, let's pay him $400,000 and have him sit there. You know, it's like that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It got ridiculous in recent years, and hopefully, I know Tony's been quite busy on the transfer market to start 2026, but it does seem like he will have ideas for people, do you know what I mean? Like, he's used the Rascals a lot, you know, and stuff like that. So Finlay, you know, he's got his first singles match this week, hasn't he? I think.
No, it's a tag match, I think.
Okay, well, they did a squash on the weekend as well, so it'll be second match. And yeah, man, they put the people to use, bro. Like, even like last year with like, you know, your Speedballs and your Kevin Knights and stuff like that. So
everybody's been active for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems to be like less and less with AEW where it's like, why is this person not on TV? Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like we get. Obviously, there'll always be
some of it.
There'll always be some people. Always, do you know what I mean? And it's wrestling, bro. Do you know what I mean? Especially with the size of these two rosters, that'll always be the case. But it does feel like it is less prevalent.
Yeah.
These days, you know, with AEW. Yeah, man. Okay, so JD turned on Finn. Obafemi, we beat Rusev comfortably, decisively. Barely broke a sweat. We didn't bump, you know. Our back did not touch that mat, you know. And that's what we did. Bro, I know it's easy for me to kind of like just joke and stuff, but like the thing with Obafemi that's genuinely like staggering to me is like the ease in which he can throw a legitimate heavyweight like Rusev literally across the ring. Like, you don't see that, bro. Like, you just don't see. We haven't seen that since what, Brock, maybe? You know? You just don't see these things, bro. It's staggering. Like the way when he does like his shot put throw across the ring. It's like, it don't matter if it's Javon Evans who you can send fucking across the arena, or somebody like Rusev who's like what, a legitimate 230. How big would you say Rusev is, Joe? Legitimately,
I'd say he's 240.
230, 240. He just fucking hoisted him up, threw him across the ring, got him up for the pop-up powerbomb last ride finisher that he has. And yeah, he got dealt with, bro. And he got dealt with, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be Brock at Mania, but if it's not Brock at Mania, I don't know who. It'd be a shame for Oba to miss Mania, and I know I'm obviously biased, but like guys, Oba and Trick, like they're both so
You're
fucking
right.
over.
Yeah.
They're both so over. Like I think
It's
they
always the
have to be
Andre,
on
brother.
Mania.
Always the Andre.
Isn't that on the SmackDown before Mania?
Yeah.
Yeah.
just wanted to
I
get
just
it
love
off.
saying the Andre. Yeah. The Dre.
The Dre.
Yeah. The Dre.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't want this Brock match to happen, guys, because I just don't think he's gonna win. And I think if he's not gonna win it, don't do the match.
I do agree with that. If he's not going to win it, then there's no reason to run it. But
I think
No,
that's
I hear that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That report is going around that it's gonna be LA Knight Brock, which why?
That don't make any sense either.
But yeah, I mean,
Brock on the card.
Yeah.
no.
Well, we got him.
We don't need him on the card, but this is where we're at. And it seems like a lot of fans want Oba to be the challenger, but
Because they want to see him beat Brock, innit? Whereas, like,
yeah,
you know, there is that kind of worry that, yo, they might not want to do that with Oba. They might not want to pull that like early huge trigger for him to just beat Brock at Mania, and then you know, I've seen it on the timeline. Like, I assume Ibu or one of the guys said last night on the podcast that like Heyman or Brock has pitched the idea of like if Brock basically isn't losing the match until his retirement match, which I don't think Brock's not around enough for that.
no,
You know, like to read, like we all know, like okay, Brock in kayfabe, like he's Brock Lesnar, he's the beast, you know what I mean, he's fucking dominant and strong and stuff, and if anyone beats him, yeah, it does mean something. But I think if you was to make him like this unstoppable, undefeatable monster, like I think he would need to be around a lot more to literally like to actually run through people and kind of make that allure of him fresh again. Do you know what I mean? Like to kind of make him like really like kind of you know, make the point of like, yo, this is Brock Lesnar, do you know what I mean? And then obviously you build to his retirement match. But based off the like schedule, what we assume he'll have, like whether it's we already know what he's doing up until Mania. Like I just don't. He's not around enough to like. Oh yeah, so we like what? He's just gonna come in like once a month, just beat someone, and then like, do you know what I mean? Like you can't build nothing on that, bruv. So.
no.
You know, Brock's Mania match, obviously if it's Oba obviously should win. Like, there's no real logic to Brock winning that, I don't think. LA Knight genuinely just feels like feeding someone that Brock can beat, you know, which...
That's what it is. I mean, as soon as that was the reported match, that told you Brock's winning at WrestleMania to me, because that's exactly the guy they would pick and go, okay, Brock needs to win, we'll have him beat him tonight.
You guys like this guy? Okay, well, let's just have Brock beat him. Like, that's kind of how that feels. But yeah, I don't know.
What is Gunther actually doing for WrestleMania?
Oh, no one fucking
He's
knows.
announced in attendance.
It kind of feels like it's gonna be Rey
He's
Mysterio
announced.
at this point, because you know
Yeah,
they've
it
done the
does.
Dragon Lee stuff and they had the big Dragon Lee unmasking thing last week, so it kind of feels like it's gonna be Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Is he retiring him?
I think he's gonna
Don't
turn it into
know.
into an angle off of the Dragon Lee thing, if I had to guess.
Oh, okay.
But who knows? Yeah, I don't know. If it kind of feels like they're trying to do all of this stuff to keep Oba interesting. I have the assumption that's why they didn't put him in the Elimination Chamber match, because they didn't want to give him a loss. They didn't want to give him the visual pin. But if that's the case, then he should be going into WrestleMania to win, right?
They're gonna throw him, Trick, and Javon in a match together and be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I am a bit concerned because they did the Javon Kofi segment last night, which on the surface was great. It's probably the most
It was.
interesting.
all black people in one match like they did 2 years ago.
Yeah, you know, on the surface it was great. It was the most interesting
was.
thing Kofi has done in months.
Since the turn. Literally since the turn, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was something interesting there. Kofi saying he sees himself in him, which other people have pointed out. Like, oh, great stuff. But where does that go for Javon. If this is Javon in some kind of tag match against this version of New Day,
Yeah, it was tough, wasn't it? Because I feel exactly the same way. I feel like I watched that and I almost got like a little bit fired up. Like, yo, this is, you know what I mean? Like Kofi sounded like a real person, and just, you know, it was almost one of them things. It was like, yo, this is what I can easily imagine. Like, what he would say to someone like Javon. Do you know what I mean? Like, it came across really sincere, and it was just interesting. Do you know what I mean? But as soon as you start to think, okay, where's this actually gonna go? Like, it's like, is this gonna go somewhere where I'm gonna be happy for Javon, or even the New Day? Do you know what I mean? I don't know, man. So that is a genuine like let it play out thing, even though the actual initial segment was good. So yeah, we'll see. Then obviously, the main event segment was, you know, CM Punk. He came out, goes to cut his live promo, gets interrupted by the Usos. They demand with vim and fire that CM Punk apologises for what he said last week about, you know, burying Roman next to his dad and this and that, and, you know.
What?
Hey, the Usos came out on Smoke Lyric. They came out, especially Jay. Jay, I will point out this. Jay's going back to the version of himself I actually most like, you know. Where he's kind of like, you know, just really aggressive and shit, you know. Whereas, like, obviously when he was, like, on his way to winning the world title and the Yeet stuff really caught on in his world championship reign, and he became Yeet Man, you know what I mean? Like, literally, like, that's why everyone was calling him Yeet Man, you know. Happy-go-lucky Yeet Man, you know. Jay can be a very, very, very interesting character on WWE TV, you know.
I agree. And, I think he was very captivating, like, during, like, the Bloodline. Well, the part of it, you know, with Sammy leading up to like that WrestleMania when they ended up like, you know, main eventing for the tag belts. But
he was good here last night. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was super far, demanding CM Punk, getting in his face, demanding CM Punk apologizes for saying what he said last week, and you know, CM Punk's thing was just basically like, oh, why is Roman sending out his lackeys again? Do you know what I mean? Blah 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 blah, and then they kept trying to tell him. They kept trying to tell Punk, like, yo, this ain't about Roman, bro. This is about our family. Like, you need to, you know what I mean? How dare you? Blah, 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 blah. You know? And, you know, and CM Punk basically goes, you know what, man? I am sorry. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Shakes hands. I'm sorry, Jay. And you're just waiting for it, and Phil, you're just waiting for him to be. However, it's just like, and he's just like, I'm sorry that Roman Reigns treated you guys like crap and never apologized it, and now you're here asking me to apologize for something I said, like, and yeah, man, it does pop me how like CM Punk is attacking this feud, you know, of like he's mentioned Roman's schedule about 3-4 times already. He's pointing out plot holes in the old bloodline stuff. He's like, yo, I'll put Big Rome over, but I'm getting my shit off, you know. Like,
I'm leaving here with something. And yeah, the whole time when they came out there and they were like asking him for the apology, I was like, better guys than you have tried getting an apology out of this guy. If you think that's where this is ending, I got some words for you. Because it sure seemed like before they came out there, he was hemming and hawing at it. It seemed like he was going to apologize on his own. And then when they cornered him, it turned into, well, wait a minute. It was almost like the Mace promo on Jay Prince. He was like, listen, I want to respect you. I do like you guys. You guys are cool, but why am I talking to Roman's little bros? When he called them young boys, I howled. I was like, hey.
yeah.
Because he kind of had a point, and he was right about a lot of things. Now, to be fair, I don't think it's necessarily that he cares that much about like their family dynamic or the fact that Roman hasn't apologized to them. It's just a point of, well, wait a minute. This guy can't even come out here and dignify me with a promo after I used his dead parent in a promo last week. He can't even show up to work to do that. But you guys are out here talking to me? Hey, man, watch out. Like, what are we doing?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's what I mean. I love kind of like the angle that Punk's attacking this from, to be honest, because it's like, even with Roman doing, like, Roman's announced for next week. That's what was on the. Wait, that's what was on this. You know, the schedule the schedule graphic, the 16th of March was definitely on there, but I'm pretty sure they didn't actually announce him for next week last night, because they announced Brock, they announced a few other things, but I don't remember seeing like a big Rome graphic, you know. But on the schedule graphic that dropped a few weeks ago, whenever it was, like March 16th was on there. So,
well, we didn't get a Roman's returning graphic last night,
which
so
we would have, you know, we definitely would have got that. So,
yeah, I also love that Punk is a guy from a different era in this era, and he seems to be still confused by the fact that, oh, you guys like this guy now, like. He doesn't show up to work, and, you know, I've basically carried this bill, but you like this guy, huh? Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. In 2015, you guys booed that guy when he won the Rumble. Oh, you like him now? Okay. Well, what if I mention this inside baseball stuff? Oh, you guys still like him? Oh, okay. Like, he seems very confused every time he tries to, like, say something about Roman not coming to work, and the crowd doesn't seem to care because they don't. They don't care at all. They're just like, that's our guy. He don't come to work, but we still love him.
So yeah, we'll see. I'm still expecting. A few people said in the chat there was a graphic on Twitter and they did announce him. So I am still even if they didn't, I'm still expecting Roman next week anyway. As of right now, unless he gets announced otherwise, you know.
What a time, buddy. When's the Royal Rumble? Shows up all of 2 times since then.
Hey man, he's doing.
Gotta love it.
What a guy!
He's doing this thing.
What a guy.
You know? Gonna win the world title, man. He's just doing this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, I like the that they've kind of given the edge back to the Usos. You know, it's like even Jimmy. Do you know what I mean? Last night he was very good. And yeah, it was.
What they can be, man. There's a reason they became who they became. It's just they've been, you know.
Yeah.
Jay became a cartoon character in the last year. That's it. They immediately went back to being interesting in one segment. It's all material. You could tell they took it really seriously and knew it was a chance to actually do something too, right? And so they were great in the segment. Punk was great. The segment was really, really well done. And in a weird way, they actually did such a good job that the build benefited from Roman not being there because it actually fueled Punk's material as Phil laid out. So
yeah,
very, very well done. Excellent promo segment.
So yeah, that was a lot of Raw talk, you know. That was a lot of Raw talk, but you know, there was a lot of good stuff over the weekend. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good women wrestling specifically as well. I thought. Yeah. So we'll start with kind of, I guess, what would be classed as the most obscure. You know, we'll start with the Eve show that happened in London this past weekend, and they had stars from all over. You know, we had Stat was wrestling Charlie, formerly known as Dakota Kai, and there was a bunch of other cool stuff on there. I was actually it kind of popped me, to be honest, to see kind of maybe it might have been a little bit different for me than some of you guys, but like, you know, because obviously following a lot of people from the UK, like there was like a genuine like buzz around this show, like even before, like Lewis, one of our writers, he was saying to us like, not going to be around too much to do much writing this weekend because I'm going to Eve, and there was a few other people that I knew, and we've got mutuals that went to the show as well. Obviously it's Osprey produced. But first thing I want to talk about before we get into kind of any, you know, background stuff, I want to talk about the actual show, specifically starting Lyric with you on just kind of your overall thoughts on the show, and kind of especially kind of the Stat Charlie match, because obviously that was kind of like really interesting for a number of reasons, you know. So
I watched both shows because there was a Friday one too, women behaving badly. I think the standout from that one was Jamie Hayter versus Mia Yamashita, which was freaking fantastic. They went for 20 minutes, went to a time limit draw, added 5 minutes, still went to a draw. They were beating the hell out of each other. And then the one on Sunday, Wrestle Queendom 8, just really great stuff across the board. Willow Nightingale versus Dina Samuels was really good. What else was on that card? Sapphire Reed versus Azumi. Obviously, Chris Statlander versus Charlie. I think that Charlie looked great in her return. She's probably getting a contract. Everybody who's going to cry about it, go ahead and cry if you feel that way. You know, like she's getting signed. She will be all elite.
I I don't want to hear no King Coda slander,
She
man.
will be in that one.
Type up the contract.
Yeah, it's happening. It's okay. Amira versus Harley was a hoot. I actually thought that I knew it was going to be really fun because of both their personalities. And I think that, honestly, it reminds me a lot of, like, I think the problem with that a lot of people have with Harley in AEW is that sometimes it's like, I feel like sometimes they book her in things that she's not as suited for it quite yet. And this was an example of her being in her lane and just owning it. And I think she just rocked it. Amira is so funny. These two together are just incredible. Like, and somebody was gonna say, like, imagine those two teaming up against like the Inspiration. Yes, that's a match that makes sense. Like, those are things, people doing things on their level. Like, it makes perfect sense. We need to do more of that, of those matches that make sense. What the main event, Rio versus Session Marth Martina, ended up like emptying out the locker room of, you know, Brit Rest and all these, you know, it was a big chaotic. It was very Osprey coded main event. In a lot of ways, but it worked. It was just a really good show. You know, I think that it was just it was cool seeing women's wrestling get the resources to be able to be a grand spectacle, you know, and everybody took it really seriously. I think that they did a really good job of having the AEW talent there, but not being the focal point, and which I thought was really great. You know, it still felt like the Eve title match at the end of the show was the biggest thing on the show, even though you had all of these guests. Shuri versus Alex Windsor was fantastic for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. I know, like, there was a lot of discourse around that. I would be honest, I personally did think that Alex should have won the New Japan Strong belt. I think, especially if they were going to split them up again, which they did split those belts up again, I think that Shuri should really focus on the IWGP reign and making that reign as distinct and as memorable, because, like, her first reign, she only got literally one defense against Alex Windsor on an Eve show. And so she's already off to a better start now than she was, you know, with that first reign. And I also think that, like, I just really like the story that they've been telling with Windsor, of she's been challenging the best in the world for like the past 2 years, coming up short, losing again and again and again, and she's finally beaten some of these people. So it's not like this came out of nowhere, at least for me personally. But the match was fantastic. They beat the hell out of each other. Overall, really good card. The show itself was fantastic. I really can't, no complaints about the show itself.
Good, Joe. You managed to catch some of these matches, didn't you?
I watched it. Yeah.
Talk to me, Joe. Talk to me.
I co-sign everything Lyric said. It was a really, really good show. The amount of variety in ring was terrific. It's some incredible talent that got, you know, showcased as a result of a kind of broader audience as a result of some of the stars that were featured, right? And so some people, and I think the biggest point Lyric made, while it wasn't my favorite match on the show, I do think it's undeniable the main event felt like the biggest match on the show in the end, with the way they worked and the way it was produced. So I think that was the one thing you didn't want, was that, you know, Moff's title win kind of felt like a runner-up to all the other stuff and the featured matches. And it didn't do that at all, which I thought was tremendous. Personal highlights for me, absolutely co-sign. Windsor and Shuri was incredibly physical. I thought Kota, or Charlie, I should say, looked terrific. Her bumping is... She immediately picked up where she left off. Yeah, and I also really enjoyed Willow Nightingale and Nina Samuels. I'm a big proponent of Nina. She is so refreshing to me when I go to British shows because she has so much personality and she's a heel through and through. In a time where I think on the scene there's so much emphasis on effort and physicality, which matter, I think she still brings both of those, to be clear. She also brings a lot of personality and character. And so I thought her and Willow had a really fun match, had a very pronounced babyface heel dynamic that on the rest of the show, outside of the main event, you could argue wasn't as there. That match had it and stood out more as a result. So it was a really, really good show. I thought it came off great. They had some production issues, which is, you know, things happen, right?
It's a given, isn't it?
It is, but I thought it was really cool to see so many people watching the show and locked in. And it actually had, for a non-Big Two show, in terms of social media, it actually had more buzz than most things I can recall as of late, which is really impressive for what was this Sunday afternoon? This was right, Sunday afternoon, just like pretty nuts. Sunday morning, I guess, stateside. So
Yeah.
Who would you say were your MVPs of the weekend from that from those couple of shows, Lyric? Who are your standouts?
Just Eve or the entire weekend?
Just Eve.
I would say Shuri, Windsor, because they wrestled on Friday too. Jamie Hayter had a fantastic weekend. Holy shit. She was great. Who else was awesome on the Eve side? I think Nina Samuels. I mean, Nina's always. I think she's just a pro, just through and through, just so solid. Like I think you can trust her with anything. She just gets the job done. Yeah, I would go with them. Who there were, but I mean, Sapphire Reed actually was great. Across both shows as well. Yeah. So I would say like those people. But I mean, everybody really stood out. Shout out to you who came out of retirement for the Eve show. Wasn't shocked about that at all. Mia Yamashita looked great. Everybody just looked really great. And I think that was really just refreshing to see. It just like, I think sometimes, how do I say it, with women's wrestling, I think for the sake of representation, I think that sometimes we can lower our standards. And I don't think that was the case at all. With these shows, like everybody looked good, which was really, really great to see.
To your point about Sapphire Reed, her and Azumi's match was definitely one of the bigger victims of those aforementioned production woes, right? I think the stream was really struggling, and I think as a result, it feels like it's got a little lost. That one is worth revisiting when the show is up in full quality, because they were just the urgency in that match. They had 10 minutes and they did so much great stuff in that one. That was a tremendous match. Definitely a good call there.
I just turned the sound off and just had to watch it straight, just because, and that's just the truth, because I knew I knew what they were doing was really good, so I just really wanted to focus on it, and I'm really glad that I did, because Sapphire and Azumi was really good. Azumi looked great. I think also too I know she didn't get that big international It Girl run last year like it seemed like she was going to, but I hope that she does, because I think that she's one of those people. She goes outside of Japan and people love her. They gravitate towards her. She's so, captivating. And so I really hope that she gets more opportunities to do stuff like that.
So yeah, it sounded like it was just a really good weekend of shows with variety. Someone said in the chat, variety is everything in wrestling. Shout out Richard. But yeah, like it sounded like there was like a genuine level of variety, and like a lot of the show was like properly thought out, and as Lyric has mentioned, like kind of like the women being platformed in a way that giving like one of the words that Lyric said, resources, giving the women the resources to be able to go out there and have the performances, and on a show like they did this past weekend, even though it wasn't one of the big two, it was quite refreshing to see, and there was a lot of positives to take from that, especially from the things that Lyric especially has mentioned. However, there is a little bit is probably putting it lightly. There is a cloud over this weekend of events, which honestly, more than anything, is a shame because of all the things that we've like said about the show, and and it's like again like the women's wrestling being spotlighted and presented and being given the resources that it was this week, and this kind of makes it even more of a dark shadow. So, as some of you guys will know, Will Ospreay has some unfortunate friends in his life. One of them being Mr. Paul Robinson from he's obviously from one of the UK guys, and he was mentioned in the whole speaking out drama. And basically, somebody came out, a young girl came out, and was like, when I was 16, basically they had like kind of like a little weekend situation, kissing and stuff involved, blah 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 blah. And then like after that, Robinson came out and he didn't like straight up deny like kissing or anything with his girl. He was clearly only 16 at the time. all he denied is that, like, I wasn't getting her drunk and I wasn't doing this, but, like, he didn't, do you know what I mean? There wasn't, like, a flat out denial there. So, like, that's obviously stuck with him, do you know what I mean? That, you know, he likes underage girls, he likes this, he likes teenagers, he likes that, do you know what I mean? After these allegations that came out against him, and they weren't ever fully cleared, you know? And obviously, with him being on the UK Indies and stuff and being involved with Ospreay back in the day, and obviously still clearly now, you know, that's kind of even followed Ospreay around, hasn't it? Like, oh, why is Ospreay, like, helping this guy out? And, like, whenever this guy would get, like, announced on shows, people would be like, oh, there's something to do with Will, da da da. And there's probably been things over the past couple of years that Will has been blamed for over this Paul Robinson guy that had nothing to do with him. But one thing that he cannot ignore or deny is Paul Robinson's involvement on this show, which he, for some bizarre reason, seemed very happy to shout out about it. So Paul Robinson was one of the co-producers of this Eve show, and Will, literally a few hours ago, did like a thread, because obviously he's like his shows. He did a thread kind of like thanking everybody involved, the talent and blah, 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 and he did like a thread. And hid in the middle of this thread is what, unfortunately, I'm talking about. He says, my biggest shout out to my co-producers, Michael Oku, Nina Samuels and Paul Robinson. I can never forget how much work you've put into making everything feel special. This has not been received well whatsoever by pretty much anybody. You know, it's got nearly 500 replies and quote tweets. You know, it's going crazy. And it's like, it's just why, bro? Like, what are we doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, how can you be so stupid? It's like, there's one thing that's we're always going to frown upon and like look weirdly and disagree with Will even having this guy in his life, you know. But at the end of the day, like, we don't know these people, blah blah blah. You can, you know, take whatever angle you want with that. But for him to like full on chest, with full chest, be like, yo, shout out Paul Robinson, it's fucking insane, bro. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, that's, people were on Hangman's back because and this isn't like to compare and one's better than the other or anything like that, but it's just like, we was all calling fucking Hangman an idiot and whatever because he allowed Marty to post a picture with him. Like, this is another level, bro. You know what I mean? But like, this is like, he's posted it, shouting him out. Like, what? So, it's a very unfortunate dark cloud to have over this. I'm not sure if any of you guys have anything to say about it, but
I think two things. One, it's like, he's an idiot. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, this, and it's a prime Ospreayism. You know, like, this is not a, oh my gosh, like, this is so uncharacteristic. It's not. We can be honest about that. Like, we don't know these people for real, but, you know, just, you know, if you've been following patterns over the years, then, you know, it's just more so of, I think it's a difference between being Brit Rest guy, random on the indies, of just, guess what? Like, even though all this stuff has happened, followed to an extent, I think it's more so, it's just people, Twitter drama with people who were like around for speaking out to that time. Like, now, Will Ospreay, you're one of the biggest stars in the world. That's why you're even producing this show and being able to give it the platform it is, because you are one of the big, you're a big dog now. Like, you know, everybody looking at you. It's not just people who were on Twitter a couple years ago, like, just following like this Brit Mac. The world is watching you. You are one of the biggest stars in the world. You are one of the most influential stars in the world. Everything that you say has weight to it, good or bad. And we've seen the positives of that, right? The positive of everything we just said about this show. Like, he was absolutely instrumental in being able to bring all this talent together. AEW flew out, basically has half of their women's roster out there, you know, for International Women's Day weekend in the UK. Think about all the people that came over from Stardom. Like, this is the Sendai girls. Like, this is heavy heat star power that, you know, and these people flat out said, these women are tweeting, we came here because Will Ospreay asked us to. And so he's influential, and we can't dispute that. But there's also a very nasty negative side of that as well, of just like, and And I'm not sure, and this happens with men sometimes, especially famous men, of just like, like whenever they get famous, they feel like they need to stay true to their roots and their homeboys. No, let these bums go. Oh my God.
Everybody can't come, bro.
Everybody can't go. Cut these niggas loose.
Everybody cannot come, bro.
Everybody can't go. Stop feeling guilt for making it out of Essex. Everybody can't go. I don't know where this guilt comes from. Just you cut the weight. Cut the dead weight. You will lose everything trying to prove to everybody that you're still the same guy. I'm still so day one since day one. Loser. No.
Yeah,
man.
Somebody said John Morant. Listen, I am from South Carolina. Can confirm that is exactly what happened. No. Why do you do this? I don't understand it. And it's also too of like, you're about to main event Wembley Stadium in a couple months. This shit is not worth it, bro. It's not. And I'm not saying it's not going to change anything, of course. But at the same time, you don't need that negative perception. And I also think that Will Ospreay had done a lot to really rehabilitate his image. I feel like AEW had kind of served like, a nice little reset for people who might have had a bad taste in their mouth. He had kind of rebranded into like, we got the family man thing going on. And just like, it's a love. It was, let's just be honest about it. And everything was doing well, going well. This is an unforced error. Right? Even if you take the morality part of it out, from a business perspective, this is an unforced error. That is just completely, and the worst part of it all has nothing to do with either of these people. It's the fact that you men producing this women's wrestling show have now dominated the conversation about this women's wrestling show and this major accomplishment for women, this unprecedented accomplishment for women. And that's why even I personally struggle with the fact of like even how to like go about talking about it on Twitter, because on one hand, yes, we should always hold these people accountable for the stupid things that they say. Yes, we don't know them. Yes, they don't owe us anything. But when you are positioning yourself as a leader in a position of power, and you are welcoming that, you welcome people seeing you as that leader. Yes, we should hold people accountable. At the same time, I do not want the conversation from this weekend to become all about Will Ospreay and Rhodes. I really don't. Like so many women, when you look at these messages, when you look at what they were tweeting, when you look at what they were saying, and you see the tears and the emotions from backstage, this was the biggest opportunity of so many women's careers. This was a career renaissance for so many people. Look at the numbers that they did. This was a big deal for a lot of people, and it did a lot of good. Like so much good was done, and I just really hate that the conversation is going to be about something that had nothing to do with them. So that's my piece on it.
No, I massively agree. Like, and it's kind of why I wanted to make sure that we spoke about and let you kind of like speak about the actual shows and the performances of the women and that. You know what I mean? Like before we kind of spoke about the. I said at the start, Dark Cloud, which ended up just being, it's a shame, it's a shame more than anything because of all the things that Lyra just said of like, it was this great opportunity, it was this great show, but it's like, when we're talking about it, it would be disingenuous of us to not touch on the fact that there was a, you call him a predator, whatever you want to call him on the show, well not on the show, but producing the show, involved with the show. And like you said, unforced errors and all these things about Will as well, so... But overall, shout out all the performers on the show because they've massively delivered, man, and they created buzz. And hopefully, even though the Robinson stuff, Ospreay stuff has taken away from like the spotlight, hopefully it doesn't kind of affect anything else. The women still were able to have good performances and stuff, and hopefully the right people seeing them if they needed that. Blah 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 blah. So
you can still watch the show, right? It's still available on.
Yeah. If you're subscribed, yeah.
They've got like the tier system on their YouTube, and then I think it's available on their website too.
Well, the website just redirects you to the YouTube.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Lyric, I know you've got to go in like 5 minutes, so this is definitely a lot more positive.
CMLL?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to talk about Mercedes? CMLL Mercedes.
CMLL was so good. Like the show is so good from top to bottom, I think. And you know what's and I tweeted this, but my favorite thing about that show was that I could see that the last time, if you watch like the October show during Women's Month, and now you could see the growth of the roster. If I feel like Mercedes went there, you know, when she had that first match with Persephone, and like really set a very high standard, you know, for women's matches, just like the women's division. And I saw everybody step up, you know, from the top to the bottom, even the people who aren't the biggest stars in CMLL, everybody looked good. Even the girls who don't typically look good. I'll be honest, like everybody looked really, really good. And there was another thing, kind of like what I was saying with the Eve show of you had all of this outside talent come in from Stardom, from AEW, and still it was the CMLL talent that I feel like shined the brightest, which I thought was really cool. Megan Bain versus Olympia. Man, that was good shit. It was fantastic. Huh?
I said it sounds it.
Oh my god. Mina Shirakawa versus Zoises. Wow. Like Mina is so underrated to me. I think she should be TBS champion by the end of the year. She's one of my personal favorites. And I think like since she's come over to America, she's been incredible. She's also she has a command of the ring and a command of the audience that most people just simply don't. She understands her position. She makes her opponents look good. She always looks good. It was a really great match. I thought the tag title match was great. Yuvia and La Jarashita versus Starlight Kid and May Sarah was great. And Mercedes versus Persephone was awesome. You know, Mercedes just comes alive in CMLL. She just, you know, the rigid heel face dynamics work in her favor, very similar to the MJF in that regard. I think both of them are two people that I think as good as Mercedes was in Japan, I think she's better in Mexico from a character perspective. It's not as much the talent quality that she's facing isn't as high as in Japan, but like from a character perspective, that's prime Mercedes. Like that's the purest form of her character. And I think Persephone looked incredible. And they really built off that first match. I think the first match is still slightly better. But I do think that this one was a perfectly worthy follow-up. And then also I think just seeing the roster surround her at the end, you know, winning, and even like her and Catalina hugging and knowing like they always win all the time. It was just a really cool moment. It felt, you know, CMLL having pride in their division, you know, and 2 years ago this was impossible. That division felt like it was just Stephanie and Stephanie alone, and you see how many stars have stepped up and really, I mean, just taking the ball and ran. I think everybody looked great. Side note, there was a little moment in there, you know, you saw Megan Bain cornering Mercedes, and you're like, man, in another world, this was fun. And honestly, I don't think that it's too late. You know, I don't think that Megan should be like a full-on heater, but that image, that visual of them together, that's
money, man.
And we've seen, and I mean, shout out to Megan Bain of just, you know, the very next day, that collision match was also money. Her and Lena Cross standing next to each other was just absolutely just mind-blowing. And a fantastic tag match as well. But like Megan Bain has just proved herself to be such a utility player. I think she can do anything anywhere. And she doesn't seem to be too, how do I say it? She doesn't seem to be too hard pressed. Like, you know, like I need to be like world champ right now. Even maybe she should, but she just seems like one of those people. Like, slot me in, I want to wrestle. You know, which I think is super cool when you have a talent like that who's really open to, like, you know, being positioned just about anywhere. So CMLL was great. These women's shows, they've been killing it, and I look forward to what they do in October.
Yeah, man, CMLL, it always pops me. It's almost kind of a little bit comedic, not laughing at, but just like it just pops me, you know, like when there's a talent like Mercedes and they like just come alive in Arena Mexico, you know, to another level. So yeah, I love stuff like that. And obviously Persephone, she's been putting in that work, bro. Persephone's been putting in that work, man. But yeah, obviously CMLL and Eve, two big kind of outside of the top two shows that got a lot of traction this weekend. You know, a lot of women got to show out, and there was a lot of positives to take from it, man. It's kind of the sort. It was like one of the weekends that you want to see outside of the top two have. You know.
Athena ran a show too, which was great. Who Runs the World 3 also ran in Texas.
You did a thing with Shayna, right? Did Shayna show up at that?
Yeah, Shayna showed up.
Yeah.
She did an appearance. And then also the return of the American Joshi tournament, which was really cool. Vert Vixen turned heel. Maya and Hyan looked great in that show. Really good stuff. I expect the fourth one to be better because, like, you know, a lot of the talent that they typically book for those shows was obviously over in the UK for Eve. But
yeah, I saw a lot of buzz about Danny Luna and Hashimoto too from WXW, which I haven't seen yet, but I need to see that. Yeah,
I'm still going through the WXW stuff, but Hashimoto, everything I've seen two matches of hers so far. I saw the Thomas Shire match, which was great. Then I saw her versus Kanji, which was also great. And so I need to finish up the rest, but no, the WXW stuff I've seen so far was really good. I mean, it has to be expected. It should be like that should be considered like the premier tournament for anybody in Europe. But
yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Okay, so Lyric, you still got your heart out?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
but
so peacing out on us.
Have a good day, Lyric.
Yes. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next week, maybe. Sure. Cool.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Alrighty. Bye, guys.
All right, peace. Appreciate ya. Okay, so let's go to the free square. Okay, we've got a few super chats to go through. We'll touch on a couple of things, and we're going to get out of here probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes, to be honest. You know, since we can kind of blitz through this, we'll talk a little bit. So, AEW's announced like a new streaming service, international streaming service that looks very good on paper. You know, we'll have to see how it works, you know, and stuff. That's always the case with these streaming sites. They all seem great when they're announced, and even this one's actually up and live already. So it was announced, it was already alive, but we'll see over the next few weeks how it actually holds up for international fans. So, like I said, international fans, not for the US or Canada, but of course you can just use a VPN. You know, as Stephanie McMahon will tell you. It'll have all AEW, Ring of Honor in one place. You can pay a little bit extra monthly, like literally like a couple of pound extra, and you get all the pay-per-views as well. There's some archives on there. Apparently, when you get the pay-per-views, though, you only get them for 90 days, which is a little bit of a... It works out so cheap, though. But it's like, to me, that's like, I can't complain too much about that because it's so cheap, you know? And it was cheap anyway. Like, it's cheaper for international fans. Like, Triller was cheap as it is, you know what I mean? It was like £6-7 a month. And then the pay-per-views were only like $14.99, you know? So it's cheap enough as it is. But yeah, like, this is going to be, I think, like $7.99. And then if you want the pay-per-views, it's like $10.99, $11.99 a month. Yeah. And it's just like, you're paying like, what, £3-4 for a pay-per-view pretty much every month. The annuals, yeah. The annual works out to straight £10 a month, I think. And that's for everything, you know? So I guess if you are a Triller subscriber, which a lot of us are, international fans, it's like it's an extra £4 a month, but you are getting all the pay-per-views. And AEW does pretty much run pay-per-views close to monthly now. So it's like, you know, it's not like before where it's like, you have to fork out for the pay-per-view once every, you know, once a season.
Once a quarter,
So,
that's cool.
We'll see, man.
It feels like something that's kind of a little bit overdue, to be honest. That's a big step for them that I think a lot of us have been waiting for. The big story to me is not actually AEW, it's what this implies about where Triller's headed. I think we all got pretty good gut feeling on that, and I will say, you know, AEW, I think this is a necessary step, but I do worry what that would mean for most promotions in existence if Triller ceases to exist, because that is their lead platform, most operations out there now. So that's, to me, feels like the actual headline, because this feels like AEW making sure they've got somewhere to go when this place,
yeah,
you know,
Triller's done, bro. Like, remember, like, even a couple of weeks ago, like, they weren't reporting their financials and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They're fucked, mate. They are fucked.
I just don't know what that means for the game, but we'll see. We'll see in the coming
weeks. Hopefully, it's not as bad as you would assumably fear, because this is Triller is it used to be Fight TV. Triller housed so many different indies, so.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Hopefully it works out well. I'm still with Triller for now because, I don't know, I'm just lazy. Don't want to switch everything over. I've got it all set up now,
Yeah. I saw a lot of American fans being like, well, what about us? Why are we not getting a streaming app? And I'm just like, guys, the archives and everything are on Max. You can just watch a lot of this stuff on Max. It's on a streaming platform. I think American fans also think they're going to get away from
a pay-per-view deal.
AEW's pay-per-view model, which I don't see that going away anytime soon. You're still going to have to pay for AEW pay-per-views. It's not going anywhere.
Because in AEW's mind, I think from a business point of view, they're probably looking at it like, we're not even that expensive. Do you know what I mean? It's like the UFC is charging fucking $90, $80, $100 for like garbage main events,
so 50 bucks is it's not cheap, but
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just think people, every time they make an announcement like this, and it's like, well, when are you going to lower the price of the pay-per-views? And it's like, well, they're doing well. I don't think it's going to happen. I saw people like, well, they're going to lower it with Max, and they give you that deal with Max where it's like $39.99 or whatever it is with Max, but I mean, when you look at what you're paying monthly anyway with Max and the pay-per-view, you're basically paying the same amount.
Yeah, I ain't changing. You're right, 100%.
But yeah, that's that's MyAEW, I guess. So we'll see how that plays out and how it's, if our US friends decide to VPN or if they're going to save HBO Max or whatever. So, but yeah, movement there. Not looking long for Triller's survival. We'll do a couple super chats because Joe's got to run in a sec as well. So I want to go through a couple of them before he runs. NXT, no. Okay. CN Lawrence, member for 5 months. Appreciate it as always. Why do you think they are avoiding Bayley and Io's rematch? There has to be a reason. They haven't done anything together. I hope everyone is doing well.
I don't know.
They're just not very creative over there.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's much fault in that. Like, I don't know what you think, Phil, but I'm not sure there does have to be a reason.
I don't know if there's a reason other than they haven't had like a real clear direction for Bayley in general. I think the time to do it was when Bayley and Io were champions, and you could have did the tag match, and then they didn't. So,
yeah,
I don't think it's happening anytime soon. I know they keep hinting at things, but I don't know.
Yeah,
if that means anything. I mean, they kept hinting at Charlotte Jade too, so I don't know what that means.
Not sure, mate.
Arve, member for 2 months, appreciate it. What an all-star cast on tonight's show. Joe, you should watch Mr. Vampire and or its follow-ups.
Thanks, Arve. Appreciate it. I met Arve outside Wembley Stadium. Very short guy. Very short.
That's
very short. Yeah.
It's a good place to meet people,
Mm-hmm.
That's where I met. I think. Is that where I met? No, I met Lyric inside Wembley Stadium.
Really? I didn't know this story.
Yeah. Anything else that Joe can touch on here?
Thank you, Arve.
You know what? Just a pop, man. We get some Oba stuff in here.
I could see that.
Yeah. Ryan 279. Maybe Oba goes for the US title at Mania. Not what I would go for personally, but obviously if they do the thing with like Brock and he can't lose and this and that, like. What Oba should do at Mania is beating Brock clean. Like that is what he should be doing. There's other things that he could do that would be cool, like a Gunther match, or you can there's probably some other like high profile names you can throw out there. But the US title, like, it wouldn't fully disgust me, but it's also not what I want to see him doing. Because you guys all know how highly I think of Oba. Do you know what I mean? Like he could be facing Cody at Mania, and I won't blink twice. So.
Yes, but before I run, I did see a chat about NXT, and I did not see the
This
show,
one.
but I did see Izzy and Tatum, and I thought they tore it up. They had an awesome match, I thought. So
Don't you think Tatum has a really kind of like with how NXT is presented and framed and the characters and stuff? I think it's actually quite impressive how Tatum seems to have struck up like a genuine connection with the audience.
Yes,
like a real connection with them. They were behind her, bro, to beat Izzy, like genuinely.
Me a early NXT takeover vibe when they were still at Full Sail and the crowds loved it and were into it. Really, really good stuff. Tatum Paxley, I believe, is one of the safest bets in terms of main roster fortunes on the entire NXT roster. Her work is exciting. She's a great athlete, but more importantly for the main roster, she has a presentation and a look and a vibe that I think will connect very quickly. So very, very excited to see how she does. And quietly, Izzy Dame is coming along very nicely.
Cheers,
so
yeah.
I wanted to quickly give a nod to that. Thank you, Ryan, for the support of the show. Thank you, fellas, for the company. This was a good time. And as Wooded Lyrics said, we'll see you next week. Maybe, sure, yes.
You want to do, should we do like a Revolution preview on Friday if we do the show?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm not doing one of those elsewhere, so that's fine. Awesome.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Speak soon, boys.
All right,
Appreciate you, brother.
See you.
Okay, so, and then number 2. Okay, we're going to get through these super chats. And then, yeah, man, we'll keep it moving. GMP, 199. Scenes when it's EO versus Raquel at WrestleMania. I was going to mention kind of that earlier, but we was kind of talking about that gauntlet for a little long, so I just saved it. But I just thought, that when I was saying it was like booked like garbage and stuff, it was just like, why, like, EO was kicked out of that gauntlet effectively by Raquel and then pinned by Ivy Nile. Why? Because I don't think that's going anywhere with either of those people, you know? Hence why you can run that joke of like scenes when it's Io versus Raquel at Mania. And it's like, I don't believe that's the match. I don't think anyone believes that's the match, or should be the match. And so, like, it's too close to Mania for her to, like, Raquel screwing Io and all that sort of shit. Then, like, Ivy getting the pin was, like, I guess it was consequential to an extent, but it's not like we're all looking at Ivy now like a real player now. And shit, do you know what I mean? It's like, she was just the person who was there to receive the benefit of the attack, you know? But,
and then Raquel also won the qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber, too, which Io was in. So, by usual pro wrestling standards, you would assume this is leading to something, but given WWE's trajectory for most of the past 6 months or so, I don't know what to believe. You would think, but I don't know. And I definitely don't feel like that's like a WrestleMania match.
Nah, not a chance. Do it on Raw next week, brother.
If you're gonna blow off some storylines, you've been doing a storyline with Asuka and Io. That makes a lot more sense to use that as the WrestleMania match. Why would you jump ahead of this Asuka match to do a Raquel match at WrestleMania?
The Io Raquel match definitely doesn't feel like Mania or even pay-per-view, to be brutally honest. That's nothing against Raquel. I actually do think that like WWE does have some belief in her. I don't think she's bad, and I do think that she took such a great kind of right turn after some of the criticism last year, and she has kind of found more of what she should be. But you know, it's Io Raquel, that man, it's just that's something that you do on Raw next week. You don't even announce it, like to bump into each other backstage, and like, you announce it for 30 minutes later. Do you know what I mean? Like that's one of them, that is. But
and that's not a knock against Raquel, like you said, because Raquel, I thought, was the highlight of the Women's Elimination Chamber match. She really capitalized on her time in that match. The crowd was super into her, booed her when she got eliminated. So they got stuff to work with her and Liv going forward, but I still don't see that as like a WrestleMania match.
Another one from Ryan. Appreciate you a lot, brother. Especially on these Tuesday afternoons, $6.99. Rusev Oba was as good of a 3-minute match as you can have. I'd like for Sheamus to be next if healthy. Would like Rusev versus Sheamus to tag after. Listen, man, I miss Sheamus, bro. I tweeted it. Was it last week? I think last week. I miss Sheamus, man. Like, you don't realise what you got till it's gone, you know. But yeah, it was a really good. I actually did think it was a good little 3-minute match. Oba obviously looks great in it. Rusev did his thing to shine him up. You know what I mean? Even though Oba literally didn't take a single bump, like Rusev didn't come off like a complete geek. You know, especially because of like the strike exchanges at the start. You know, both have great punches and fucking can be physical and stuff like that. You know, there was that little moment where Rusev like screams a spot at him, but you know, whatever. But
I did enjoy it. I thought that Rusev looked a little bit like Rusev of old. We got the matcha kicks and like the usual offense, but I don't know what is the trajectory for Rusev at this point. You know, we've got that very funny quote of him from I think Chris Van Vliet's interview where he said he went back because he wanted to wrestle more.
Hey man, 3 minutes, brother. Shine him up. Hey man, Will Chisholm. appreciate you as always, brother. Long time supporter of what we're doing. He says, I think they do Sammy versus Trick at Mania. Yeah, same. I don't know if you've heard, but Joe's kind of, I guess, pitch or prediction was they might even do a double turn in that match, which I think could actually work, which is like crazy because double turns are such a like delicate thing and you don't want to just do them for the sake of doing them. But if you look at the trajectories of both of these people, I think they could actually pull something great off with a double turn at Mania with those two. So
I worry when they do stuff like this, like bring somebody like Trick Williams up, and he's gotten popular doing a very specific thing as a character, and then they'll turn him, and then they'll stop doing the stuff that worked with him. And it's just like, I feel like him as a heel is working because he has all this charisma and he has a dynamic to him. And I don't think we've gotten enough of that yet. I know that he's popular. People want to cheer this guy, but I kind of feel like it's too soon to turn him. I don't know what we still don't know exactly what we got in this character yet. He hasn't been on the main roster long enough. And to just be like, well, he's getting cheered, so we got to turn him. You don't necessarily.
Yeah, and if they do turn him, they've got to like not change anything that he's doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To kind of your point of like, he's already kind of naturally starting to bloom and like flourish on the main roster, doing what Trick does, what we've got used to seeing Trick do. And I think a lot of the things that we love about Trick aren't necessarily like super heel traits, even if he's like a bit arrogant or cocky or whatever.
Right.
They're not. He's not like it's not like fucking 09 Randy Orton, and he's this sadistic, terrible human being. Do you know what I mean? So I think they could genuinely pull off the double turn by just telling the audience, "Oh, Trick's a babyface now, by the way," and he just does the exact same thing that he's been doing, pretty much. You know. Yeah. Then Sammy, obviously, it's very interesting for Sammy, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the stuff with Sammy. Obviously, it seemed like he was in a running for a world title win at this time last year, coming out of WrestleMania.
What the fuck happened to that?
Well, Seth got hurt, and then they moved him to SmackDown, and it felt like his whole feud around the world title made the most sense if he stayed on Raw, and he would have came gunning for Seth, and then they moved him to SmackDown, and it just kind of went completely left. He had a really good run as a United States champion, and you felt like, oh, this is the thing that's going to prime him for a world title win, and then it didn't. I thought even like going in the Royal Rumble, like he had to be a favorite to win it, and then he wasn't even in the Royal Rumble match. I don't know. Very, very odd. And now he's doing this backstage stuff with Cody where he's showing frustration, and I'm not sure what to make of that. Like,
it's interesting though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sammy does perform these very well, I think.
He does. It kind of feels like one of these guys is going to turn. Either it's Cody Rhodes or Sami Zayn.
Cody ain't turning, brother.
I feel like this is
too much money, baby.
I feel like this is the time, to be honest with you. If we're
I don't, man. I think this is like Cody loses to Randy. Randy turns heel at Mania and kicks his fucking head off, bringing the pump back. I wouldn't have Cody beat Randy for the title again. Like, Cody's lost the heel Randy, you get me? He goes, he regroups. You can do like he can wrestle Gunther, you know? Yeah. He could wrestle Gunther, non-title. Randy can drop to like Jacob Fatu. I think would be cool, genuinely. But yeah, I honestly want. I understand like the interest and the allure of it, and it's been a thing for years, hasn't it? And I actually do understand what you mean when you say like now feels like the time, because of just like the way things have played out. He's cooled down, and then like he would get hot again, and then like he wins the title and stuff. But it's like, bro, like Friday when he won the title, and in those closing moments when the child just erupts into Cody chants, and then he hits the big Cody cutter, and they fucking explode again, and then he hits his finish and they pin him and they explode again. It's like, I don't know, the people still love him, man. Like, I do think like the narrative and the perception around Cody, if you're on Twitter and stuff, like I feel like we can kind of get a little bit lost in the sauce of thinking like even myself, I catch it like, oh, I wonder how the crowd's going to react. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how the crowd's going to react this week. And then he comes out and they fucking absolutely adore him. And it's just kind of like, wait.
Yeah.
Then, every now and again there might be like a few boos in the crowd or stuff. And I think that kind of is why somebody like myself, for example, is kind of like will have that thought in the back of their mind, like, oh, how's the crowd going to react? But literally like 95% of the time, they absolutely adore him. So it's like, and I think, yeah, he's just, there's a lot of money on the table with Cody as a babyface still. Do you know what I mean? Just keep the run going.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the stuff on Twitter, like the hate that we see people keep saying is there for him on Twitter, is very overstated. When you look at like the reactions in the crowds, the crowds, like you said, still really love this guy. And there's clearly like some agendas being pushed on Twitter. I mean, we've seen it since WrestleMania 40, to be honest. People have been telling us since WrestleMania 40, the crowd's going to turn on him. People are not going to like him. And it just feels like there's some fans that are trying to will that into existence.
Yeah, 100%.
But I will say, like, the stuff with Drew did not help him. I feel like some of this stuff, like, even though it should be a clear-cut story of, all right, Drew had this contract in place. Cody can't get a rematch unless he wins the Rumble or Elimination Chamber. And then Drew went out of his way to screw him in the Royal Rumble, screw him in the Elimination Chamber, interfered in the qualifying matches. And so, yeah, he got what he deserved because, once again, Drew McIntyre's pettiness really was his undoing. And it's really a clear-cut story. But at the same time, this idea that Cody Rhodes went into Elimination Chamber, lost the Elimination Chamber match, but still got a title match 5 days later, 6 days later. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that people started to dislike about Cena, where Cena would be booked in a way where he lose a match, but he still end up on top anyway. And even though there's a logic behind it, people are not seeing it that way. They're seeing it as, oh, well, if he's just going to get a title match anyway, well, why does any of this matter? And then if you like Drew, it makes it seem like, oh, well, Drew just got screwed. Like, Drew got like this.
Yeah, 100%.
This transitional title reign, and Cody ends up champion again. And people don't know, the blurred lines of, Drew saying that this is WWE's Golden Boy. And they're like, well, yeah, of course, their Golden Boy wins the belt. Drew gets screwed again. Which,
yeah, it's one of those things to that point that you make. Like, I feel like you definitely would question it a lot more unless you're like really kind of like deeply following everything. Like it's still, when you lay out that story to me, it's like, well, it's because like this tension's built with Drew and Nick Aldis for so long. Nick has got sick of him, and that's what Cody's got into, fluke his way into this position. Whereas,
absolutely,
when from the outside looking in, if you're not watching every single segment and episode and watching the segments between Drew and Nick and everything that's going on, you would just think that, wouldn't you? Like, how the fuck's Cody back on top again? He lost, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? It's very easy to think that. So,
yeah, and I think they had an easy out for that. It kind of fell in their lap because Bronson got injured, and once Bronson got injured, because Drew had done all of these things already, I didn't understand why Nick Aldis didn't just go say, "Hey, man, you want a title match so bad, you keep interfering in things. The Elimination Chamber match is now a title match. You're going to defend your belt at Elimination Chamber. And you could have just had Cody win at Elimination Chamber instead of doing a title match days later."
Well, unfortunately, Phil, they put zero effort into changing the plans of Elimination Chamber when Bronson went down. And they just thought, you know what, we'll just put Logan Paul in.
Yeah, they just did it in a very cumbersome way. But that's straightforward. The reason why I think it's time to turn him heel, though, is because I feel like as a character, you've reached the logical end to this story arc with him. He got the win at WrestleMania 40. You've been really telling this story since he won the championship of, all right, you came back to, rewrite your family's history, be the guy from your family that wins the WWE championship, and everything that meant to you, everything that meant to your dad's legacy. But they've been telling a story all along of what does it mean to be a champion? How do you stay on top? Punk has been telling him all along, this belt does something to people. Like what you need to do to keep this belt. Like, you're going to have to do some things that you don't want to do to keep these belts. And that played into the Kevin Owens storyline. That played into the stuff with Drew. And it ultimately played into the stuff with John Cena last year, where Cody had hesitated to just use the belt to clobber John Cena and win the match. And it even played into the Elimination Chamber stuff this year, where he took his eye off of Randy for a second. Randy hit him with the RKO and he lost. So you've got to finish that loop at WrestleMania of him finally understanding, like, No, it doesn't matter that you're my mentor. It doesn't matter that you're my close friend. I got to do what it takes to win. And if that means I got to get my hands dirty to win, then I got to do it. Like, I feel like this is the character moment for him to finally get there. You've done the underdog thing. You've done the he's happy to be here, kissing baby stuff. Where else are you going to go with this character if you don't turn him?
Yeah, I think with Cody, it's kind of so rather than kind of like an arc, it's more just kind of like the person he's striving to be overall, in the sense of like his whole thing is like, you know, as much as you can laugh and joke, like QB1, he wants to be the main guy, he wants the ball, he wants to be the quarterback. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's very real to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's his whole brand, bro. Like, even from like even the way that he kind of presents himself on fucking his podcast and shit. Like, it's everything to him to strive to be the man. Do you know what I mean? The top guy, the babyface, the world revolves around. Do you know what I mean? And a credit to him. Do you know what I mean? He's done a very good job of that in his WWE run thus far. I don't know about the heel turn. It still feels a bit soon for me, because there's so much invested into Cody as a babyface, like in and out of the ring. You know?
It though? I mean, when you look at the babyface run of him coming back in 2022, in that span of time, he's got 2 Royal Rumble wins, 4 WrestleMania main events, not Elimination Chamber run, King of the Ring win, Crown Jewel win. He's had a monster run as a babyface in a span of that time. Like, I think you could do something different with him as a character after that.
See, I think we agree on that though, in the sense of like you can do something different with him, because I think there is definitely something to what you said about, like, you know, and there is definitely some like definitely a certain level of some fan exhaustion. Hence why I would have him lose to Randy in a dramatic fashion. Randy turns heel, punts him in the head, whatever. Then you do the rematch. Randy wins again, you know. And you have Cody having to kind of like, as a babyface, confront that, you know, he's not the guy, like similar to how we had to do it with Cena, but like without the kind of slop and the inevitable of like, oh well, Cody's just gonna beat him at SummerSlam, because we all kind of knew that, didn't we?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like have him in kind of, because he's never really been too much in the unknown, except for like that few months when he first lost to Roman and he did the Brock feud and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But that's why I say, like, he should drop the belt definitively to Randy, and then I'd move on maybe to something like, I think the Gunther feud works because, you know, there's like the Gunther stuff. I think like the retirements and stuff, like it's got to lead to something, doesn't it? Like someone has to beat him, and it has to be the right person. I wouldn't be mad at Cody being that person. Do you know what I mean?
I think if they do this Ray match, I think Ray's gonna win. I don't think Gunther's gonna beat him. Yeah, I think Ray's gonna win if they do that. I don't know if that's the right choice, man. But I just kind of feel like that's where it's going. But I don't love the idea of having Cody going into WrestleMania as champion 2 years in a row and losing to John Cena and then Randy Orton. I don't really love the idea of that.
Anyway. Sorry, Phil. We knew this anyway, but Pollock and Thurston, 2 of the best around in the game, just put out an article. And we knew this anyway, but it's just funny to see it in writing confirmed. Well, not confirmed, but reported. ESPN made the decision to drop letter grades from WWE reviews after WWE expressed discomfort, multiple sources told Post Wrestling. We knew this anyway, but it's just funny, and we knew this anyway. You know, they weren't happy with those. What did they get? Was it a C or a D when everyone was like?
It was like a C plus or something like that. Yeah, it was like a C plus. I honestly think that happened because the internet blew it out of proportion. I don't think that would have mattered if it didn't turn into like the Twitter discussion of the day. Mm-hmm. Oh, look what ESPN gave this. It's just like, I just don't think it matters. And I think, like, you know, the more fans do stuff like that, then like WWE is going to pay attention to it because that's what the fans are talking about. And I feel like it got just blown way out of proportion. But also not surprised with this regime that this is happening. We're talking about a regime that at the start of last year was still doing the press conferences. By the time they did the big Brock return at SummerSlam, press conferences were no more.
That timing was so nasty, bro. Like, even if I was like one of the heads in WWE, I'd have been like, "Hey, man, do we have to make it this fucking obvious?" Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Jesus.
We go from that into press conferences, and then at that point, they're still doing the post pay-per-view panels with Big E and Rosenberg, and Triple H was at least coming out fielding questions with that, speaking to the crowd. We get to the Saturday Night Main Event, he gets booed by Elimination Chamber. He's inside talking to Kathy Kelly. He's not even out there. It's like, yo, what are we doing? So. They clearly care what people think. Don't let them tell you otherwise. I know they keep trying to tell you, oh, well, we don't care about negative opinions. We just want to run our race. No, that's not exactly true.
Yeah. Will Chisholm, $2. Appreciate it as always. Cody Haight is from Roman and Bloodline fans. Yeah, that's basically the gist of. We both basically agree on that. So yeah.
Some big agenda pushing, but some of the funniest stuff I've seen is Big Roman Abbey getting on and saying Cody is the most overpushed wrestler ever. Buddy, you look at your Abby.
Short-term memory, ain't it?
Let's be honest. The guy in your avatar has 10 WrestleMania main events to his name. It's not even.
It's just literally the first half of his career. That is literally the most overpushed babyface maybe WWE's ever seen. You know, so
I've seen some pretty egregious takes from some Roman Abbeys, but not shocked. I've been a part of the internet wrestling community for a long time. Roman Abbeys have been the scourge of the IWC for a long time, so I'm not surprised. No.
Yeah. Johnny Burney, appreciate you. 199 says wrestlers PSA: stop posing for pictures with creeps. Yeah, hopefully wrestlers one day, one decade, one of these generations will understand that. But unfortunately, it wasn't this weekend, you know. So, you know, hopefully...
unfortunate.
It was a shame.
Yeah, because, I mean, as Lyric was pointing out, like, they did seem to get a lot of goodwill out of this show. And Ospreay in particular... I remember a lot of stuff being said about him at one point, and you know, this isn't the first time that he's defended this guy, and he took a lot of heat for it last time. And there's been other stuff around Ospreay from his indie time and from like his time in Britain, but he had really, to Lyric's point, revamped his image, and you know, we were going a completely different direction with this, and it just feels like this was a step backwards. And then, unfortunately, because like this is a part of a thread, he had said some other things that were really beautiful, like what he was saying about Alex Windsor winning the New Japan Strong belt, and how, you know, what New Japan meant to his career, and to see his wife win that belt, it was a beautiful moment for him, and crying real tears about that. Like, that's great, and like there's so many other great things to come of this, but that's going to be a big talking point for a lot of people coming out of today, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just a level of unforced error as well. Outside of like the real life, like unfortunate and shame about it. It's like the unforced. For me, it's like it's completely like you can't even excuse the unforced error of it. Of him, how can he be so stupid? Because it's like there was already like a little bit of buzz before today about like. I think someone posted like, I think I saw Paul Robinson at the show and he was wearing an Eve shirt. So can somebody like confirm if he was or wasn't involved in the show because of X, Y, and Z? Ooh. And there was another post like Paul Robinson, this, and that, and like, a few threads did go around. You know what I mean? And people were saying things like it wasn't like Will Ospreay posting that photo wasn't like. Wait, what? Like, he was there. Like, people knew, bro, and people were already talking about it in the scene and on, like, Brit Rest Twitter and stuff. So, like, for him to then come out and be like, you know what? Fuck the noise. I'm going to post this thread. Like, it was just crazy, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah, see, I didn't see any of that. I just saw his post, and when he just dropped it, just, like, in the middle of all this other stuff he was saying, I was like, why would you do that, though? I mean, everything we know about Eve as a promotion as well, it's been, you know, trying to position itself as a very progressive wrestling promotion, very punk rock. And, you know, they've taken their share of criticism for other things that, you know, they've done. But they've also, like I said, tried to be really progressive and do different things. Like even when they had the stuff where they were trying to allow their wrestlers to have a union, and they brought like the same union for like actors and stuff, and like for theater in, and like the healthcare and stuff, and like wanting to provide different things. Like they've been really on the cusp of trying to do other things, but yeah, to then be attached to that with what you're trying to do with your company, and the couple that are owners, Dan and Emily Reed, have spoken out on so many things, and then to have this attached to it does not look good. Does not look good at all.
Bro. Not good at all. And yeah, to add on, Will Chisholm $2. Will and Hangman need to stop being stupid. Agreed. Kazoo, last one. 45-year-old Randy as your top babe. Well, yeah, that is one of the inherent kind of. It's not that big of an issue, to be honest, because like even in like the scenario that I laid out, like obviously Randy would be a heel, but it's like Randy can just drop the belt to pretty much anybody, But like that is definitely something worth considering if they were to go one of the routes that me and Phil said, like if they go the Phil route where Cody's the heel, the one turning heel, like that is inevitably what you are left with is Randy as your top babyface. So maybe there is some limitations with that, or maybe there's not. But again, it's not an issue if Randy turns heel, brother. People have wanted Randy to turn heel again for a minute as well, to be fair. So
I don't know that he wants to. It seems like he's enjoying himself. He still comes out. The crowd sings a song. He seems like he's having a good time. I don't know if that's necessarily what he wants to do. And
Cody definitely doesn't want to. So
yeah, but I feel like it makes more sense at this point for Cody's character for him to turn than it does for Randy.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think Randy necessarily has to be a top babyface if they turn him, because just I don't know. Use this.
No, but who is your top babyface then? Just Punk, who's also just lost his belt. Do you know what I mean? Like it puts him in a weird position because of where everything is. Like, Roman would technically be like in terms of like the depth chart because he would be the world champion, and obviously it's like nobody's really like above him. But like when we talk about your top babyface, we're talking about the one who's gonna fill currently what Cody and Punk do, basically. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of the issue, I guess.
I think one of the things that they kind of fell into in this build to WrestleMania is just how interesting of a feud Cody versus Jacob is. And I think if Cody retains and he's a heel, I think that there's a ton of money in Jacob versus Cody down the line, even like SummerSlam. Like, I think you could do that and have Jacob as like a top babyface on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have other options for babyface on SmackDown as well. It's just, I don't know.
Pro wrestling, there's options, and then there's what they're gonna do, which could be a painful one.
Yeah, I see. Tony in our chat is saying 2 nights of main events with face versus face, buddy. I don't think that this is a face versus face thing with Roman and Punk. I think they're telling you who the heel is in this thing, but I think people are kind of in denial about it.
The only thing that CM Punk says that's been babyface the past couple of weeks has been Roman doesn't come to work and I do. That's about it.
Buddy, I saw when they put up the after Raw thing of him walking up the ramp with that smirk on his face. I'm like, I've seen that guy do that smirk multiple times, and it's never good. And that's why I knew exactly what he was doing. Like, people are saying, "Oh, well, he knew he was wrong," and I was just like, "He did." And you got to realize, in the promo right before this segment, Roman told him, "My cousins tell me everything. They run to me and tell me everything you say." Yeah. So when they came out there and told this guy he had to apologize, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to twist the knife any harder. Go tell your boy what I said. I ain't apologizing for nothing. Tell him what I said. Tell him he can come and say something next week." That's all this was. I'm trying to get under this guy's skin as much as possible. Y'all think y'all going to come out here and force me to apology?
My thing coming out of that segment is like, it's interesting to see how the Usos fold into this story now. Because like CM Punk, in theory, like he's gonna have to say or do something, can he? Like, you can't just let Jimmy Uso slap you about, bro. What we doing? You're the world champ. You know, it's like, do they get involved in typical Bloodline fashion at Mania?
I don't
Like,
think they do.
So, like, do you know what I mean? I am kind of interested because I don't think like the Usos chapter of this story is just done now.
I do think it's very funny that this is the second week in a row that they came out without the tag championships. They are the champions, and like that's not a focus in any of this. Like that hasn't been brought up. Nothing. Like that is very funny, but I don't think it matters. I think him getting slapped by Jimmy, and he's just like, oh, I got him. I think every time at the end of these segments, he's had the same reaction walking away, like, got him exactly where I wanted. This is what I've been saying since the very beginning of this promo, by the way. All of this stuff. All the way to him coming out there, and Roman said all of this stuff, and he walks out there, and he's like, hey, Finn Balor, you want a match? And just completely walked past Roman. And then after the segment was over, he walks away, and I was like, oh, you guys have this confused. You guys keep thinking, because this guy has been playing a villain for 4 or 5 years. He's been terrorizing his family. He's been playing mind games. Oh, no, you're not in there with Jay. You're not in there with any of these other guys. This guy's a different level of a bad guy. You're in there with the real devil, man. Like, you're not playing with a different... You're not playing with the rest of these guys, man.
Roman is a MAGA heel, and Punk is a shoot heel. Come on,
yeah. It's just different levels to this, guys. Like I just think Punk is looking around like, oh, any way I can get under this guy's skin. If it means breaking up his dead father, if it means getting in his family mess. I'm trying to. Yeah. This is what I want Punk to do. Punk is at his best when he's chaotic.
Messy,
man.
Yeah, when he's messy, bro. He's a messy guy. Do you know what I mean? For better and for worse. Do you know what I mean? He's definitely been for worse at points in his career, but he's at best. He's at his best, and he's the most entertaining to watch as a fan. When he's messy, bro, like even if whether it's kayfabe or shooting, do you know what I mean? Like he's just messy. Like that's what he's on, bro.
That's him at his best. I do think that there's a lot of irony too as well. People doing that. I don't want PG Punk. Like, oh, this PG Punk stuff. He coming out here and pandering, and then when he brings up somebody's dead father, oh, you better apologize. Hey, which one is it, dog? Like, we want chaos or not.
Yeah, Punk. I've really enjoyed Punk this year, man. He's genuinely in the running for my wrestler of the year so far. So make of that what you will. You know, I am Johnny Burney. Last 199 says probably Cody wins, but Orton punts him to close night one. It wouldn't stun me. It really wouldn't stun me if that is just how it plays out. You know.
Yeah, I could see that too if Cody does retain and then Orton turns on him at the end and turns heel.
But even though I want the Orton heel turn and stuff, that would be one of the ways I wouldn't want them to do it, because you still kind of have, like, I'm aware that the Cody, issues is probably too strong of a word, but like considerations around like the Cody Rhodes stuff, yeah, and it's like, I think Cody should lose, like, regardless of what they're doing in this main event.
So you think that? You think
if Cody turns heel, obviously he wins in it, but like I just don't think they'll do that, and it's probably not what I'll do either. But like outside of that scenario, I would like Randy's walking out of that with the belt, bro.
So you think that they put the belt on him 5 weeks from WrestleMania to have him lose?
Yes.
Oh,
well, no, actually, wait there.
That doesn't make sense.
What do I think they're doing or what they've done? I don't know, to be honest. I can't get a good enough read just yet. But
I mean,
putting the belt on Cody for 5 weeks, because I think that was just kind of like how politics played out, so they could get to the match they wanted. Do you know what I mean? Like Randy could be. I think like Randy could be champion now, and they wouldn't care that much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the idea of like, oh well, Cody's only gonna have the belt for 5 weeks. Like, I don't think that really matters that much to them. You know.
Yeah.
So we'll see. What I actually think will happen is, I don't know. Maybe something close to what Johnny Burney's saying, to be honest, where Cody just wins. You know, Cody just wins again, and then Orton punts him or some shit. And do you know what I mean? Because the idea of Cody just winning and Randy just being like disappointed, sat in the middle of the ring, is just like, that's ass, bro. Like, you can't do that, man. That's so flat.
I think no matter what the outcome is, I don't think this is the last of this. I think we're going to probably get a series of matches with him and Orton.
Yeah, they should. Because they've got there now. It feels like they've held it off for a minute, didn't it? Like everyone for a long time, Randy Cody, Randy Cody, Randy Cody.
Yeah.
And even though politics and injuries and whatnot has kind of like led them to it almost kind of accidentally happening, like it is now. You do it now, don't you? Do you know what I mean? You just do it now. And hence, again, why I say like, yo, turn Randy heel, have him punt him, and then have him beat him again. Cody's fucking devastated, heartbroken, has to go back to the drawing board. It kind of tempers the fans thinking, Cody just wins all the time, and he kind of chills that out for a bit. Let him do some interesting stuff, remind everybody why he is the fucking man, you know? You can have him wrestle Gunther or do a series with Gunther to avenge John Cena and AJ Styles and the Spirit, you know what I mean? Because he's kind of like the WWE guy sort of thing, like... And like Gunther's kind of like, you know, he's like the big bully in the playground at the moment. I think that dynamic would work really well. And then, you know, whatever other stuff you can do with him for like 6 months to a year before you just put the belt on him again. Basically.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they put the belt on him just to have him lose. I mean, we got that weird report that part of the reason he lost to Drew is so that he could take part in all the PLEs during WrestleMania season and still take part in Elimination Chamber and Royal Rumble, which is just the most nonsensical thing ever. Because you
can just do the Elimination Chamber for the belt, like you said with Drew earlier.
You could have just did a WWE Championship match at Royal Rumble. You could just feature this guy on these cards as the main event. I don't know.
Yeah, funny stuff, but. Yeah, man. Let's wrap it up for the week. Appreciate all the super chats, guys. Me and Joe, obviously, we'll dive into Revolution and the card and stuff on Friday. So, yeah, man. Raw had definitely some talking points, hence why we stuck on it for a bit. It was a very interesting and quite a productive, good weekend of wrestling, especially on the women's side. Hopefully, like we've said multiple times, hopefully like the Paul Robinson situation doesn't take away from the performances and stuff over the weekend, you know, obviously on the Eve show. And yeah, AEW tomorrow, no idea what's on the card.
I think Persephone is challenging for the TBS title, right?
Oh no, they're doing they're doing that as well, which I'm actually quite looking forward to, but they're doing like the press conference for Max and MJ, for Max and Hangman, aren't they?
Yeah. I have no idea what that's gonna be.
Conrad's gonna be in the fucking those kayfabe press conferences, you know. So Brian Alvarez on the Observer Radio earlier was like, Dave's going to be there because it's in San Jose. He just assumed Dave was going to be there. Dave's like, I ain't going. He's talking about... He's like, I ain't going to a kayfabe press conference. Like, I'm not doing it. It's part of the show. Blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, so... when's the last time? Who did they do it for when they had, like, Bischoff and that there?
Yeah, when they had that, like, town hall thing.
Yeah, who? What was the match that they were building?
It was Max... versus
is it Cody?
Was it? I don't remember, but I do remember like the town hall setting and Eric Bischoff was there. Yeah, it was a very weird segment.
I hope someone weird shows up tonight. Like maybe he probably won't be Bischoff after what he's done with his relationship with AEW in recent years. But somebody equally as funny, you know. Russo hasn't said anything too crazy about AEW, has he? You know, just get someone hilarious. But yeah, man, that'll do it for today. Dynamite, of course, tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. Revolution this weekend. Looking forward to it. Cody Rhodes is the new WWE champion. You know, we've got Bayley versus AJ next week. There's all kinds of stuff going on, man. That's probably not even close to the top two things, but there's all kinds of stuff going on, man. So we'll be back next week on Tuesday, but for the meantime, we'll be back on Friday. Phil will be back on Saturday. When are you doing Grapsody this week? Because pay-per-view week, I don't know if it's moving your schedule around or not.
Yeah, we'll be live this Saturday at noon Eastern time.
There you go.
Unless something changes between now and Friday. And then Revolution is Sunday.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. So yeah, another good week of wrestling, hopefully. And yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate the super chats and the live chats and you engaging with us. Hope you have a good week. And yeah, see you next time. Peace.